The Tuesday, August 12th, 2025, Idlewise Board of Commissioners meeting. It's 9 a.m. and I'll call the meeting to order. And the first thing we do is approve the agenda. I'll make a motion to discuss and approve the agenda.
Second?
I think we should have a short non-public session if we have time, depending on how this meeting goes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with that modification, all in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Do you know what we're citing for the 91A?
2C,
Okay,
protecting people's reputation.
okay.
How do you vote on that, Nancy?
Aye.
Okay, 3-0 on the agenda. Approval of the minutes. I just had one thing,
Okay,
and that was, do we want to actually put the street number of the house on Bristenstock that was had the driveway question last week? It's in the minutes as a driveway on Bristenstock, but I don't know whether we need or want the number of the,
Well, to be consistent, when under old business table guide, it says owner at 28 Burn, so we already list driveways.
right, so we should
are
put
you looking at the agenda though?
minutes.
He just said agenda.
Yeah, he's looking at the agenda and sees another address is spelled out with the street number, and he's saying therefore,
Yeah, I don't know if you announce the street number. I do it for the purposes of us knowing exactly what we're talking about on the agenda.
I see.
Oh,
So
we're
you
talking
think it's
agenda or
better
minutes?
I don't think
talking
that
about
we
the
should
minutes. Do you
specific,
just reference
unless
the
we have
agenda?
to.
No, I'm looking at the minutes, and last week, right there, under old business, we
Okay.
already listed an address.
So he's
So-
saying in the minutes is.
There
the
already
Burn
is an address listed.
Of Bristenstock or?
No, we didn't, under old business tabled items, number 6, we already say owner at 28 Burn Drive responded with his proposal for his driveway alterations. So
So
why
put-
can't we,
So add 31 into the Bristenstock address,
Sure.
and all in favor of approving those, any other comments on the minutes?
no, I found nothing.
Okay,
The one, and this is more of a question.
okay.
Remember we were talking about the gardens?
Yes.
And we were specifically referring to not giving DPW time.
Yeah, you specifically said that.
Yeah, but I didn't.
But the minutes say that it's not necessary that any maintenance be done.
Well, that's the conclusion of the whole thing was,
Well, I think it was two things, as I recall. I think I made the motion, and the fact that
You
we
did.
don't believe maintenance is done at this time, and even if it was, at this moment, we can't spare DPW time, they're just too busy.
Right, I wanted the addition of
Okay.
DPW time.
so you want me to add that to the minutes?
Yes, please.
Okay,
And that was all I had.
So now should we vote on approving the minutes?
Sure.
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
okay.
And 9:03, we'll go to approval of an operations manifest for $5,097.56. I'll make that motion to discuss and approve this manifest.
Second?
So we're paying electrical bills, and we're reimbursing me for the purchase of signs. We're making our contribution to the retirement plan of $2,959.67. We bought some Sawzall blades, 5-pack, for $19.89.
Oh, you knew what that was?
I looked it up.
Wow.
I wanted to see if I could
Because I'm like, what the heck is this? I
take
had
that
no
off the
idea.
invoice and
Right.
threw it at
That's funny.
Google, and it came back with Home Depot offered the product. We're paying for the beach to be power raked,
Mm-hmm.
Little Beach, and we're paying the Verizon wireless bill. Any questions on that manifest?
No.
All in favor of approving that manifest for $5,097.56, say aye.
Aye.
3-0 on that. At at 9:05, we'll move to the water manifest for $7,977.61. I'll make a motion to discuss and approve this manifest.
Second.
There's 3 items on this. We're paying the water bills, the water system's share of the electric bill, reimbursing the operating budget, I would imagine.
Well, it's pump houses mainly.
And we're paying Granite State Analytical for the testing of the water, of the water system. And there's a $6,760.01 reimbursement to the operating budget by the water system.
I have a question on that, just for my own edification. Jennifer, you provided a breakout of what that was. Water system payments made by operations July 2025, and everything to me is straightforward, except for the $4,375 to Ploczek and Sanderson. Sounds like a legal firm.
That's the
That's the
auditors.
accounting.
Well, that's the auditor's share of, okay, got it. Not a legal firm, but
Okay, that
an
was
accounting
quick.
firm. Okay, I didn't remember the
Yep.
name of them.
It's split 50/50.
Okay, the light's clearly on now, no problem.
Any other questions on the manifest? All in favor of approving this manifest, say aye.
Aye.
3-0 on this manifest. So at 9:06, we'll move to the DPW report. Good morning, Jeff.
Hello,
So there are a few things on your,
there are, I
Yeah.
see this. Yes, there are. So I checked on the ladder yesterday, they still hadn't gotten to it, so I went over to Silver Lake to see if they had any for sale and what they might have, cause they sell some dock products over there, but they said they could have to order something. So I wanna get that back as soon as possible. I did ask him what it was gonna cost, he didn't think it was gonna cost much money, but I just don't understand why it hasn't gotten done yet, but.
Was he able to at least provide a time estimate as to when do you
Well,
think
he
he'd have
keeps
it?
telling me he's gonna get it this afternoon, but that's.
My opinion is we go get it back, we stop that project, and we go buy one like we originally intended to.
Well, that's kinda where I'm at now,
oh, no kidding.
It's too much time, this is August.
Yeah.
right, so that's.
Childhood memories have been damaged.
So, yeah, that's where I'm, kinda going with that. The Dodge, they told me Friday, they finally called me
Hold on,
back.
before we leave the ladder. I don't know how they could fix it. If, I was contacted through a messaging system that one of our resident snorkel divers found a step of the ladder on the bottom of the lake below the raft.
Yeah,
And he brought it, so I don't know whether that's a step off this ladder or a previous ladder that broke. And I don't know how they could fix it if they didn't have the step.
well, we had other steps from
Oh.
other ladders that we were, they were gonna, so he had parts to fix it. He's got the parts to fix it. The guy at Silver Lake did mention there's another place right on 41 that deals with those, docks and rafts, and he said he welds aluminum and stuff like that. But like you say, at this point,
Well, our
I take it
intent,
from one place to bring it to another place.
our intent was to buy the heaviest duty rack of ladder
Right.
available because of the history of this thing repeatedly being broken at this particular beach.
Right.
So we'd like to go right to that. So buying one local for the speed of getting it is not what we're after. If we want somebody to ship us something we think is gonna be a great test
Right.
of strength.
What about the place that we get the
The floats.
floats from?
Well, these are the ladders that they've given me in the past.
Oh, I
These
see.
same type of ladders. I
Oh,
bought these
so
from
they don't have
Northern
anything
Docks.
heavier duty that we know
Every time I ask,
of?
this is what I end up getting.
Okay,
So I've tried going through them. Like I know Mark's looked online and so have I and Tony, and we've seen some of things out there. The problem with that is it's online and you don't know exactly how heavy duty they are without putting your hands on them, but,
Right.
Yeah, higher price doesn't mean that they're,
right,
Yeah,
you just
bills.
don't, these things are expensive already as well, so, I'll make a phone call down to Center Harbor Dock and Pier. I know Johnny over there and I'll see what I can come up with.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there is a place in Center Harbor,
Yeah,
Them
I've
too,
bought
yeah.
things from him in the past, so I could touch base over there and see. I just kept hoping that we'd
I
get this
know,
thing back.
yeah.
But, shift gears on that one. The Dodge, I spoke with them Friday, and they told me they're hoping Wednesday, they're hoping to have it put together Wednesday, so I'm hoping we could go pick that up tomorrow, or at least Thursday morning.
Did I see a note that the 2019 blew a line,
Yeah.
a hydraulic?
Yeah, we
pneumatic
were
line?
raking and watering idlewise when, then we shifted gears down to Little Shore there and realized one of the hydraulic lines let go, one of the main hydraulic lines, so we got that right in, they got that fixed right away.
Okay, so you've got that available to
Yeah,
you?
that came
Okay.
back with the next morning, so that's all set. Appinvale, I meet with, I would meet with one of the homeowners there, I think it's 22 today, about their driveway, cutting that back, so I'll explain that to them, like I did with number 20 there, and we should be able to start cutting those driveways back in the next couple days and fixing those, so we can get the gravel to that, get that shaped. We're gonna grade it the way it is, get it shaped up, and then put the gravel to it.
So it hasn't been worked on in several days. When do you
Right.
think this is gonna get finished?
Well, again, that all depends on laying out the gravel, how much gravel we're gonna be able to lay out. I do have an individual that'll bring a 10-wheeler in for $125 an hour to help gravel that road, if that's something you guys are interested in. Driving the truck and with the truck, and then so we'd have 2 trucks running the gravel to lay that out. Something to think about. Once we get going on it, it shouldn't take us more than a day or 2, I think, to lay out the gravel.
I think we should do it.
Okay,
Yeah,
Get it done.
get it done as quick as we can.
Yeah,
And we're
Yeah.
gonna put calcium on it too.
right, and then get the calcium, roll it,
Wow.
rake and roll it, and firm her right up.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the contracting of a 10-wheeler for one day at $125 an hour.
Second,
Discussion? How do you vote?
aye.
aye.
3-0 on that. I did hear from New Hampshire Emergency Management yesterday. The money machine is still trying to crank up after the state's budgeting, and so there's a little hope that FEMA money will still flow through the state for the stuff I've already submitted.
Mhm.
And I'll give Jen, I did up all that paperwork for the hours and the equipment and the materials hauled off of Appinvale. So I'll give those figures to Jen.
I spent hours yesterday working on the 2024, the whole thing, and it's tedious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't have, we weren't in the business of sending time cards for the weekly meetings until July. So I need to get from July back to activities started in May. The beginning of May is when you started to haul material from the suppliers, road material, gravel, rock.
But what are you gonna be looking for that's different on an actual card than,
Well, we submit the cards themselves to New Hampshire
Oh.
for the reimbursement. They
Gotcha.
get all the time cards, so that they have,
yep, more than enough data to go by, yeah,
they have all the data.
yeah,
And they still reserve the right to come in and
Oh,
audit.
yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
So we have a little project to do, which is to
sure,
get to the,
that's not a big deal, that's
couple of
all in a little envelope in each one,
it's a
and,
matter of getting them in through the scanner.
yeah,
Okay.
it's nothing,
But those are time cards for the labor performed that day? For any-
well, to prove that they,
They were there working,
yeah,
but even though the full day may not have been committed to that particular project. Okay,
No, there are days that they didn't work on FEMA stuff
right,
during that time. Just getting everything ready for docks, rafts, all the other things that happen. And the time cards say when they were taking vacations.
Yes, correct.
Right, you know, if I put down that June 16th, 3 guys worked, you know, hauling ditching material, and then the time card says, well, Jeff was off that day.
Yeah, that's
You
not
know,
gonna
there's
jive.
a
Yeah.
discrepancy,
Right.
that type of thing,
Okay.
so.
I go to
Gotcha.
jail.
Yeah. You know, so that, I think that's kinda like what they would grab the cards
Yeah.
for, but.
Right, yeah.
Okay, back to your story.
So that's with Appinvale, so I'm working on we did get the signs out there. I had one left over and would have clarified where that one goes to me, so we'll get that one up.
Okay.
A no parking in the road
And no
sign?
parking in the road signs.
So there's 12 of those.
And yeah, and you know, we were lucky with the spots that Wood and Nancy kinda, you know, and their suggestions, and with the posts that we did have at the shop, even some being short and some being long, and some of the signs that had fallen, and, you know, we kinda reconfigured things and got them all up using what we had, without having to purchase anything, so that
Nice.
worked out pretty good.
Good.
You know, I do have a couple signs I wanna get back up. There's a Winnegon and Idlewise sign that came down over the winter that, you know, I do have a post for, a new one that I, you know, so with the stuff that were broken and things that we had in lying around, we were able to make all that work, with what we had, so.
So what I've seen looks great. The remaining no parking is, of course, Hotwell and Como, corner intersection there, and I think when this goes in, I think we're gonna start enforcing the 18th of August. I heard that word going
Yep.
out. So we'll probably need to keep an eye on things, because I have a feeling we may want a few more no parking signs in the future. at
Whenever you want
strategic
'em.
locations.
Just make, when you're ready to make a motion, just make them and I'll,
Yep, the template is done. Be the
Yeah.
same, yeah.
we don't have to design them anymore.
Yeah, that goes for you too, if you feel like you
Right.
think that, you know, this
See a
should-
couple
yeah,
spots here or there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The 5 weight signs may arrive today,
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
and those
We could change those over.
are as big, they're bigger than the old ones.
Are they?
Okay.
They're the size of the Hotwell parking lot signs.
What?
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, think about who is the most egregious. Think of the
Yeah, well,
big trucks that go flying
Again.
through Idlewise Drive. Well, the template we use, I'm sure you've seen it. You make the right onto, I forget the name of the road, but if you're coming up past the American Legion, back up toward Town Line Road that way, there's
Cascade Hill Road.
a Tasker. It's right on the right, going into the Cranmore Shores area.
Yeah.
There's a big, beautiful sign. Just as we just copied that size and wording.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. I don't know what Bergdorf culvert
Yeah, Mark
overflow.
said that, yeah.
One of the contractors that I've been talking to about the Bergdorf project, putting the water main in, suggested that we consider a 24-inch overflow. So when the 48-inch Bergdorf culvert is approaching a flood situation where it's reached the halfway full mark, the 48-inch,
Yeah.
that we have in the same way we do at Grisson, an overflow culvert that's above the stream, out of the wetlands, so it doesn't need a permit, that begins to take water also to offload the 48-inch culvert that it's putting out, so that the 48-inch culvert never gets overwhelmed. And so I thought I would throw that out.
Where would that be in relation to the existing culvert?
Parallel to the 48-inch culvert, about 4 feet away.
Okay. So isn't it really just becoming a double culvert?
It's an overflow. No, it's not double because it's not down taking water at the same time from the very beginning.
It's raised higher.
It doesn't come into play until it's a flood situation where
Gotcha,
it's being
gotcha. Where the
overwhelmed.
water has risen to a certain level and then it starts taking water. Gotcha.
Is that something we're installing?
No, the idea is that while they have the whole road ripped up,
Think about it.
right at that, putting the new water main under it,
Yeah,
what better time with the big machine to be there to,
Right.
when they're backfilling the whole thing to
Yeah,
lay the culvert in there.
yeah. Now, and you're talking the Granville end of it, not the Aspen side of it, the downhill side.
I guess I was imagining he was talking about the Aspen side, but I
Yeah,
don't
the
think. it
bridge, the bridge
Yeah,
going
Aspen
over
side.
Bergdorf where the culvert is.
He's saying which side of the 48-inch culvert, that's what you're
Correct.
asking.
Oh,
Right.
I guess
oh,
it doesn't really matter, it's,
Wherever there's room.
I'm thinking like you, it would be on the Granville side.
Yeah, that's the way I kinda pictured it when I understood what it was.
Either way, I find it a little tight, but I mean, you know, I think that's where it would make, yeah,
Good morning.
Good morning.
downhill, I mean, I don't know. But no, it's something like you said, you know, when they're getting into that, it could be discussed in more detail, I guess.
well, hopefully after today's meeting, I have everything I need to finally write up the bid package and the specs for this.
Yeah.
And that's, so I need to know, I guess if we're undecided, we'll leave it out.
Right.
Couldn't you still put it in and look, exact location TBD? It's one of those things that, where it makes the most sense, or we just go take a look at it, make a decision.
Well, first decide whether you wanna spend the money for a culvert, whether you think that makes sense.
And we talking a 2-footer?
24, yeah.
I think it makes
Yeah.
eminent sense, cause Bergdorf has been washed out, and put out of commission before. So-
Multiple times.
Okay, well, once that I can recall, you guys can probably recall multiple.
Every time Grissom,
Yeah,
every time Grissom fully goes,
Oh,
Bergdorf goes,
yeah,
because
it's downstream of it.
it's right
yes.
downstream
Yes.
and it gets, and Bergdorf takes everything from Grissom,
Right,
you know,
And more.
and more.
That's the thing people
So,
don't remember is that Bergdorf takes on more water than Grissom does.
Yes.
Because it comes in, and it comes down the side in addition to what Grissom is feeding it.
yeah, no, I think it's,
Alright, so I'll make a motion that we add a 24-inch culvert to the Bergdorf water main project.
second,
aye,
Overflow culvert, say.
yeah,
common sense.
aye,
awesome.
You know, maybe we'll discuss exactly where that goes, take
Yeah.
a look at it.
Yeah.
Bring all your friends out there and
Come to a consensus.
And then I got a fill request that I'm hoping you guys can sign and he can take with him and kind of attend to it when you're ready.
Yeah, this guy talked to us about this, and, yeah, I don't think, you know, I'd have to kind of
On Jungfrau.
go over it with him a little bit more on, you know, exactly
Where he
where and
wants it,
how we
yeah.
can do it and all that, but,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I don't think he's looking for too much material, but,
And he lives there and,
right, a few
I'm in
loads.
favor of that if you wanna make a
John
motion.
Giovanni, yeah, I know him, John and Fran, good people.
Yeah, nice guy.
He works for Madison DPW,
Yeah,
part-time.
right. Yeah, I think that's something we can make happen for him.
and take a look at it.
did you wanna wait for Mark to make the motion?
No. Gonna make a motion, we approve this
What's going on?
fill request
Yep,
and sign it,
Exactly.
I'll second that,
aye,
aye,
very good. You wanna wait to see if Mark's got anything else before you leave, or?
Yeah, and I wanted to make a comment on that, Biosca there, I guess they moved the brush from what the guys told me yesterday, so.
Oh,
that
oh,
should- yeah.
beautiful. I
yeah.
knew that was gonna happen. I think it
Right,
was just
yeah,
a temporary thing.
It looked like it, I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine somebody left them like
Would you
that. but-
decide?
we decided to approve it.
Yep.
Made a motion,
I'll vote yes on this too.
Yep,
Doesn't need my signature?
you can put it if you want, it's got two of us.
I can make a signature line for it. Alright, awesome. So, go ahead.
But yeah, so the guys told me yesterday, after they checked the roads, that brush on Biasca had been removed. They moved it across the street, I
I
guess.
think they were doing some cleanup of the yard and they started gathering up their branches and whatever,
kinda
some
piled it up
pile,
in
and
the
it was
ditch.
near the road, to the ditch line, and I'm like, let's give it a couple days, see
They
if they
got
come
that
in, and
removed.
sure enough, they did, they removed it.
Yeah, so, Idlewise Drive went we graded that last week, and, got that rolled and raked out, everything came out nice on that, and, yeah,
The
so,
comparison of the dust that's not happening on Otherwise Drive
Right.
compared to
a lot-
Alpenville Way.
Wow,
That means clouds coming off, it's so dry.
Right.
Hot.
but,
We
yeah,
have plenty of calcium chloride to
right,
get down
to
to.
lay down, yeah.
And are you gonna gravel some more spots?
Yeah,
You started to talk about Little Shore when you talked about the hydraulic line. What's
yeah,
happening at Little
well, we
Shore?
wanted to lay it down, we got one load of gravel, and we were gonna get a couple more and lay down on there, it's gotten rough as you take the corner from, West Bergamo and heading down towards Middle Shore, so that intersection and that little stretch there has gotten a little washed out and roughed out. So we were trying to repair that until that hydraulic line might go.
Oh.
So there was no sense laying out more gravel when we couldn't, rake it and,
Right,
we could have rolled it and we could have put the calcium to it, but we couldn't really rake it out, so, we kinda stopped that until the truck got fixed, and then we were into a few other things, but, so we'll get back to that and those other things. We did start doing some, again, I'll call it some spot ditching to clean up some areas where the water's getting out into the roads, like we talked about, so we can get those problematic areas done before winter, so we started that on Gretchen yesterday. And we'll continue that, the guys are off today.
Do you have a hard copy of the FEMA project that has all the ditching spelled out, how many cubic yards they estimated?
Yeah, I
Do
could
you have
dig
a hard
that up.
copy?
Yeah,
You have one?
yeah.
Cause like Gretchen, I can't remember off the top of my head, I don't think Gretchen's one of the roads that they spec'd.
It might be, yes,
So we need to look at the.
right,
you know,
right.
I don't know if I have it on here.
But yeah, I'll dig that up.
Are you interested in going to T2, New Hampshire T2 training on the grader? Have you ever been to that before?
Not the grader,
No?
no. Yeah, that'd be, of course.
We'll look up to see, I'll tell you about T2 training later.
Okay.
I think we should get you and Yuri to go.
Yeah,
That way, 4 days a week, Tony can run the grader when he has Fridays off, you guys run it.
right.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, those courses are always informative and,
I like the idea of $300,000 grader is capable of running any day of the week,
yeah,
no matter where Tony is.
yep. Again, we've been running that, like I mentioned a week or so ago about the backhoe, maintenance.
Yeah,
is-
yeah.
The graders
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
need
right.
some as well. I also talked with Pete's Tire Barn there just one day just because the rear tires on that grader are gonna be coming up for replacement probably before winter. I know the front tires got replaced a year or so ago when we had that slice in one of them, So to match those tires that are on there, I did get a price for $3,600 for $3,660 or 80 or something like that, just under $3,700 for them to come out and replace those 4 rear tires, which I thought was a good price compared to what we paid for the front tires a couple of years ago. So
Have to look at the budget,
yeah,
do a budget review on that.
just something to throw out there because that's a big ticket item, but yeah.
What's
so
the backhoe need?
the backhoe's the backhoe just needs it's 500 hour
maintenance,
maintenance
yeah.
there, or an oil change, some filters and stuff. So I'll get a call into them on that and see if I can get them out here. Like I said, there was a couple other things that I could try to get them out here on that may cover warranty stuff and get them here to do the oil. But that's all I've got.
Anything for Jeff?
No?
Thank you.
Alrighty, enjoy the heat.
Yeah, you too.
Stay hydrated.
Yes, thank you. See you, mate. Bye.
So right on time at 9:30, we welcome Simply Water.
Wow. You guys keep a tight ship here.
We don't mess around.
Yeah.
Good morning,
See-
Noah.
See if I can ruin the schedule on you here.
So, we'll start with Bergdorf.
Let's start with Bergdorf.
Speaking of, where did you get these drawings? Did you do those on some sort of? These
I
are
got
great.
them all over the place.
So you cut and pasted and added in, okay.
He was
Yeah,
busy this weekend.
I even spelled Aspen wrong, but I fixed it.
I wasn't worried about the spelling, I was just absent, okay. But I was just, these are great. Drawings, the picture,
I know.
okay.
No, you can't hire him.
Yeah, right?
So the reason I put them in there is that I'm gonna put them into the
Bid
agreement
package.
that I'm writing
Yeah.
up, so
Yes.
that there's no
Spec.
doubt about what we're talking about.
Right.
Right.
And I needed to find out about these hydrants, I didn't, there's a clean out feature to it, there's a set, the locking cap,
Yep.
it blows debris out of it, I guess.
So you gotta have, there's gonna be a number of models that are gonna be available to you if you wanna do the exact same one we have. I'm actually not, I'm not sure on if ours do that or not.
They do.
Okay, so, but yeah, I mean, you've got a number of options on them. So typically, most of the ones we find out don't. Maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying when you say that it blows out from.
The metal cover that is down below the top of the head of it
Yep.
comes off, and it seems to be a clean out.
Huh. I'll have to look
What
into
are we
it.
talking about, a blow off?
It's a blow off
This one
hydrant.
here? Is the
Oh, okay.
hydrant? We talking about the hydrant, what are we talking about?
It's called a blow off hydrant.
Blow off
It's
hydrant.
painted red, so that makes it a hydrant.
It does, yes.
Otherwise,
It
it's a
has
blow-off.
it has a hydrant
Instead
thread
of the
on it too.
plastic blow-offs that we like to take off with the wing plows,
This will be harder
Yeah,
to kill.
right.
this hurts the wing
Yeah.
plow before it actually breaks off. There's a break-off section to it too,
Oh.
made for wing plows to
To
make another
easily
sale.
repair when it
Right.
happens. Yeah. It's a safe because you
They
know
thought of
in the movies when a car hits a hydrant and the water shoots 100 feet in the air, it doesn't actually happen. There's a release that
Artistic license.
shoot exactly. Well, maybe 50 years ago it did. So
So I in one of the drawings, I removed the detail where it's packed in stone. They backfill this with, you guys saying pea stone?
So, at their discretion, we usually use pea stone because it's less likely to kind of sift out, if you will. But you know, the reason that it used to be bedded in stone is there's a bleeder typically on these you can take out. We can't do that anymore, so you got to actually pump down all the hydrants. So you used to just pull out that little 1/4-inch bleeder nut, and then when you finish using your hydrant, you shut it. The stack would drain out, but that's now considered cross contamination, so we can't have it. So stone isn't 100% necessary. You just didn't like to put sand around it because when it was bleeding out, it would push all that away. So that's really to their, stone's nice to have around it, kind of as a benefit of if you're digging it up or whatever, same as kind of the sand, but it's a lot less likely to sift away with the water running down at it and all that. So
Yeah.
pea stone is the common use for.
All the drawings installing these things, they had them packed in stone.
Yep.
Not necessarily pea stone, but I noticed it was all stone.
Yep.
When this is used to sanitize the pipe,
What they'll more than likely do, and I'm obviously semi-guessing at this, but so they'll install the 2-inch curb valve at the T that's gonna go in at Bergdorf. There'll be a leg of line that goes out and they'll just run it, like the 2-inch IP sticking up out of the ground, put fitting adapters on that for the chlorination and all of that. And then once that project is complete and been tested, they'll dig down, you know, and cut the hydrant into that 2-inch IP poly.
where should the valve go?
The valve should go right at the T.
So, if there's the travel surface of the road,
Uh-huh.
then there's gonna be a ditch. There's kind of a ditch there, but we're gonna have that road's gonna get, all the road's gonna get ditched.
Okay.
Proper ditches. And the hydrant's gonna be on the other side of the ditch, which is a bank.
Yep,
So I'm imagining that the contractor's gonna make a cut into the bank.
okay. Just kinda like rock it in, put like a little, yeah,
They're gonna excavate to get in.
Yeah.
Gonna
right,
excavate the
right,
whole
yeah, I
thing
mean, I
out.
know when we were digging, it's on a slope like that, so
I
you
don't
go
think we
in.
want the hydrant on the top of on the side of a slope, putting it back the way that it was, that we're gonna have a cut in that
Yep.
you can walk into there, give you a couple of feet of clearance to access it,
Yep,
and let the wing plow get at it.
that's right, blocks it.
So,
So there will be a 2-inch valve
so
at
they'll
the
run the
cluster.
pipe up and use the pipe.
Yep,
They pour the stuff in, they pump it in.
more than likely it'll be pumped, and again, that's gonna be to their, means and methods. I mean, what we care about at the end of it is before anything's opened up, is that it passes bacteria test, it passes a leak test. So they'll pump water in for the leak test to put it under hydro pressure, and they'll pump in, probably through whatever we decide we allow them to do or not do, but typically we'd allow to have some flow going in as they're pumping chlorine in for disinfection, and then just have it monitored pressure-wise, so if it ever starts to show pressure, you shut it off and the rest of it gets pumped up. They'll either probably end up hiring a contractor to do that, or we can work with them to do that end of stuff.
I think E.J. Prescott did it on
That's who-
Sousa's, right?
Yep, that's who typically we would have up in this area. There's a number of guys that do it.
So the T valve, you mentioned in your response that could be a ductile iron. Are there,
Fuse tees?
fused Ts? Yeah.
Sure are, yep. Because of the material you've already gotten, and it is the common setup, to go with like a ductile iron tee and then just put your valving on that and then change pipe off from it. You could get a 4-inch fuse tee, then you'd have to get fuse couplings for either side of the valves, and it would end up probably jumping up. The tee itself isn't a crazy amount of money. It's the valves. The valves are $1,500 each, plus all the other stuff around them. So I'd have to pull the receipt on it. It was $250 or something for the tee, and you already have it. So you got all the Foster adapters and everything you need to build this thing.
So, is it that we already have purchased all of the fittings that are necessary for this project?
95. There might be some, depending on their means and methods, there might be some adaptations to some 2-inch fittings or something. But yes, as a rule, I would say yes, we have everything we need.
So we should have an understanding with you, probably we should write it down somewhere, as to what it is that you're going to perform during this project. I think you want some oversight into certain key aspects of it, like
Yep.
I think you're required to see the sanitization of this thing and the pressure test of it.
Yep.
But you don't need to be there every day, every hour watching.
No, I mean, what we would typically look to do is start the morning over, see what those guys are up to, try to see them by the end of the day, and then depending on what they're running into, if there's a specific thing they're doing when they're putting in the gate valve cluster, when they're putting in the hydrant, when they're tying into the existing system, any of that stuff they're doing, we'll be present for. And then when they're just running straight lengths of 500 feet of pipe from end to end, just kind of let them do their job. If we're driving by or somebody's coming through, we'll come and just make sure, keep an eye on Phil, and as long as the stuff looks good when we come by, we let them do their job. No use in just,
So
unless-
is it simply that we're gonna say in the agreement that they're gonna buy and install the 4-inch HDPE fused pipe?
Yes,
And Simply Water's going to bring all of the fittings to the site?
I said the village district will supply material.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Put it on us.
Well, you guys already own it,
Well,
so
yeah.
it's stuff you guys purchased, so, you guys have it, so however you wanna put it, you
You're
can put it on us.
physically bringing it, they're
Yeah.
gonna know to ask you.
Sure.
It's time to bring us this, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, we would
'Cause
coordinate.
I don't wanna have to worry about these guys stopping because they don't have what they need
No,
right now.
I hear
to
you.
keep going.
I mean, they will be, depending on, because you're gonna bid this out to a couple of people, right?
Mhm.
So what would typically happen is once it's accepted and you guys pick a contractor to work with, we do like a pre-construction meeting. We give them what we have. I mean, you're talking incidentals, right? They would have included the $15,000 in HDPE if they've got to buy some $112 adapter fittings or something. I don't know, you guys could discuss if you change order or if they just have it included, but typically it would be like a pre-con meeting, you sit down, you look at what we are supplying, which we will already detailed, but we'll just make sure that the materials are prepared and ready as they go to do their project. I mean, inevitably, there's gonna be something they come across that's slightly different than expected, or they run into I don't know, who knows, and they'll have to get parts. But I would say the only thing that the village district should take responsibility for supplying is the gate valve cluster to the valve endings. Anything past that point will be the responsibility of the contractor. So to just keep it simple, right now we have a 4-inch gate valve that's open, so it's a mechanical joint, female mechanical joint ready to be, received. We'll have a T that will be supplied but installed by the contractor that'll be 4-inch gate valve, 2-inch IP thread, and then everything else from that point forward.
Why two 4 inches at that? Because it's really just an elbow with a output for the hydrant. Why would we need 2 valves?
How many valves?
For one run of water.
We don't, we're gonna put one, so we discussed only having, you're right, so the 4-inch will just stay
One
in our
4 inch,
stock.
one 2 inch.
So they'll come directly into the T, a 4-inch heading down Bergdorf, and then the 2-inch, but again, it'll be a female mechanical joint fitting ready, and I can outline that, but that's essentially pipe by pipe at that point. Now, if they're using fuse pipe, or if that's what we're requiring, they'll just have to get 2-inch fuse, but essentially you fuse a fitting onto the end of your pipe with a mechanical joint backer, and then that goes right into your.
Well, if we're gonna use a ductile iron T,
Yep.
and we're putting a valve, and it'll be a single piece of pipe that goes to the hydrant. It's not gonna have any joints to it.
I would use
It's gonna be like a 10-foot run of pipe.
10, 20 something, whatever makes sense
Which
for
we'll
them.
buy in a spool, right?
Yeah, we have it available now. So you could agree to supply even the hydrant and the pipe. That's entirely up to you guys. The more you supply, the less you'll get hit with markup on material. But there's innuendo to that. I mean, they say they mark it up 35% or something. I mean, they have stuff that they run into while they're installing it that we typically let the contract, as long as they meet whatever the design is that we're supplying to them, you let them kind of get their stuff and do their thing. That way they know what they're working with and can check it out the night before and whatever.
So I would say that if you're gonna provide all the if we're buying the parts,
Yep.
and you're gonna bring them to them when they need it and watch it go in, if you could buy the hydrant for us.
Yep.
And make sure that we have the 2-inch pipe and everything that's part of the T mechanics out to the hydrant in both directions.
Okay. Let me just write this down. So you want us to supply everything from hydrant to T, and
All I want the contractor to do is buy 4-inch fuse pipe.
Okay.
Everything else, I'd like the village to already have purchased, and you guys bring it to the site when they need it.
Okay, and we are, do you want that to include the 4-inch fuse adapters to go to the mechanical joint?
Yes,
Okay. So really, the only thing they're gonna be supplying is pipe.
pipe.
That's it. Alright, supply all materials.
This way you guys know exactly what happened too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Materials, 4-inch. Now, they will supply their own temporary stuff for coming off that 2-inch and doing their pressure testing and all that, correct? That's a means and methods. I mean, I could come up with a plan for them, and then they're gonna say, oh, it doesn't fit the hose I have, or whatever. So I think that should be,
Yeah, cause it could be E.J. Prescott that's doing it. right?
exactly, it might not, who knows who it's gonna be, and then we can, I mean, again, when we're there, what we typically would do in this, we just work for the district as a T&M, if we're there for 5 hours on the project, or 10 hours, whatever's needed, and so you don't really couple that on the contractor, we just work for you as needed. So if it makes sense to keep it moving, and we're there, and we can take an hour and help them pipe fit, and we kind of draw a line when there's a contractor on it as far as like actually pipe fitting the material down in the ground and stuff, just so that if there's a leak on it when they go to do their pressure test, and I'll say, oh, that was that guy, he tightened that last bolt, and now you guys have to fix that leak, so we'll have a line drawn, that's never an issue, but something up above ground, temporary, whatever, will help as we can. HDPE It's a 2-inch hydrant and all related materials, 4-inch HDP, fuse adapters, and then just all materials. Except for pipe. Okay. I'll get an order over, or I'll get like a request for quote from EJP and get that over to you guys for approval.
So there's gonna be a thrust block on the head of the T downhill.
Mm-hmm.
How do you imagine the water force is going? It's easy to think the water flows down Aspen through the T and over to Bergdorf, but it's also capable of coming the other way depending upon where the usage is.
Sure, it's gonna be a loop now, so it can come around. The common spot is exactly where you put the thrust. Now, if this was a dead end with a piece of pipe and a cap at the end, instead of a blow off, we'd be putting the thrust block on that as well. But because what's coming off that T is all going to be connected with bolts or threads, it's, I mean, for all intents and purposes, impossible for that to be a blow off concern, like a pressure, blow off. So I don't, you can put a thrust, like at that 4x2 cap, you can put like a thrust block that would be on the face of that. As long as there's straight pipe.
So I'm picturing from what I read that we should have a thrust block on the T against undisturbed earth,
Where you pictured it.
poured.
Okay, and that's again, that's an option that you have. Typical installation would be, Coleman cells, half yard, 3/4 yard, 1 yard thrusts. You drop that in, they move it to the pipe, and you go that route. You can certainly have them poured, but that would be
Well, poured
atypical.
gets you guaranteed against undisturbed earth, right?
100%, yes.
So we're gonna start doing things the good way
Okay,
and not the fast way, or the cheapest way.
yeah, that's,
And I don't know if any of the other hydrants that went in, I think there's 2 of them actually, whether they got thrust blocks on them, but they should have thrust blocks on them too. And that's as the vertical joint
Yep.
curves up to go to the hydrant, the thrust block is a little under the elbow and behind it where the thrust is. How long, what's the flow look like? What's the arc of water coming out of the hydrant look like? Where's the landing zone for this water?
So-
I'm just thinking of erosion in these people's property. where the
yeah,
road-
no, you need to. So that particular location, I mean, if you were talking a 2-inch standard hydrant, you could be talking 30 feet of blowout. But what will happen there, because we have that line feeding off the PRV at Jungfrau, is you kind of have like an initial burst, and then it kind of puts down to probably a flow rate of about 100-ish gallons per minute. 1 to 200 gallons a minute would be my guess. So realistically, you're probably talking within 5 to 10 feet is the maximum expected blowout.
So we can aim, when the hydrant's installed, we can expect that the aim of it's downhill
Yeah.
into the ditch line.
Yeah.
So what I'm picturing is I don't want the ditch line of the road to be damaged by
Right.
a blow-off. So we wanna aim it so it's gonna go into a ditch that's stone lined. It's taking the energy out of the
Heavy
landing.
riprap, like 6-inch to plus, yeah.
And I'd like to put it into this contract that they're putting it in there.
Agreed.
Oh, nice.
Yep, you should have all, I would agree with that, and put that all in as part of the project.
So I'm gonna say, from the hydrant out 15 feet, they're gonna cut the ditch and stone line it with 6-inch. So depending upon the arc, no matter how far the arc goes, if it goes 7 feet or 15 feet, it's gonna hit stone and not damage the road or the ditch line.
Yep.
No erosion. Let's see, what else do we have? I have to bring up my notes that I sent you. God, I thought I
Yeah, I just had that up too. I tried to answer the,
Yeah, that was good that you saved us all some time here, right? By answering in
well, you never
advance.
know, okay.
And you weren't blindsided.
No, yeah, appreciate that, all up on my brain and everything. Obviously, so we can do a stagnant.
Oh, the valve, that's what I didn't get to. The valve, the 2-inch valve that shuts the hydrant off.
Yes.
That could be in the road, it could be on the other side of the ditch.
So my suggestion would be to put a 2-inch curb valve at the T. That way you're kind of you're protecting any length of pipe. I mean, you say 10 feet, it might be 20 feet, it might be 30 feet, whatever. So if we ever had an issue with that, you got to protect it. The hydrant itself has a valve. Well, it has the operating valve, and you have the option for about $250 to say $400 to add a 2-inch curb at the hydrant. You think of it kind of the same way, like a service line. We have a corporation at the main, and we have a curb valve at the property line. This would be kind of the same way of thinking. You got duplex valves, but it's just now you have isolation on the actual service line feeding the hydrant. If I had to pick or choose, I would put the line at the T, because it's going to be in pavement, it's going to be very easily accessible, it's going to be up at grade, it's going to be a good valve to get to. Honestly, more protected than putting one off at the road shoulder. So if I had to, I'd say both are probably would be by design, but if you had to pick one or the
Okay,
other.
so the 4-inch and the 2-inch are in the road.
Yeah.
And it can be shut off at the hydrant, but we have a way of servicing the hydrant should something catastrophic happen to it.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. Depending on how far back you get the hydrant, I guess standard means and methods now would be to put in 4-inch concrete bollards, and if they're already pouring a thrust block, it's really not any more difficult to put in a bollard as well. So you could include a bollard protection at the hydrant as well if you wanted to.
I'll talk to the highway guys about
Yeah,
that.
they're gonna love it. They're gonna love them. But I mean, if you line it up 8 inches from the hydrant, you're kind of telling yourself, well, if you're gonna hit the bollard, you're getting awfully close to the hydrant. So
It depends on how they cut into the bank.
It
If they
does.
put 3-to-1 slopes on it, then if the bollards are recessed into the cutter,
right, then they probably won't hit it
then
anyway.
they're coming down and their wind plows with the bank, and they're just going by all of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're just pushing snow into this whole
Yep.
thing.
Yep. So, just if, like I said, depending on where that layout falls, a bollard would be typical. But again, it's not like we have them at every other place. But that if you're
Right, they didn't make it into the big project on
Yeah,
business
I know.
law.
So wait a minute, are you envisioning the hydrant to be far back on the other side of the ditch that bollards won't be necessary?
3 or 4 feet in, but the
I'm
wing.
saying they could be precasted bollards that they drop in there, or
Yep.
the highway guys could say a couple of boulders.
Yep.
They just wanna know where it is.
I
It's
see.
basically the flag coming
Yep.
up off
Yeah.
the hydrant
Right.
is their key thing. But we never know who's driving our trucks at any given point.
Yeah, I mean,
Luckily,
you
it's
guys
been our
know
guys, but in the
Yeah.
past, we've had people
Not know.
that didn't know where anything was in an emergency situation that was driving it, so we gotta prepare this thing, so it's new guy proof.
Right.
No such thing, but close to.
As good as you can.
Yeah. Outside of that, large rugs.
Plastic, everything I read,
If you're gonna pour it, yeah.
they put this piece of plastic between the concrete and touching
Yep.
the T.
Yep.
It didn't look like any big deal. Some of them use rubber, which I'm not really sure why you have a thrust block, and then something that will actually move.
Depending how
Oh,
thick it is,
jeez.
but
And what I found interesting was that the fused pipe doesn't need to be thrust blocked, except if it's not the only pipe in the system. If the whole system is, so what the concern is that we're attaching to the 2-inch main that comes down Aspen,
yep.
and then we go to the fused pipe to the T, which is 75 feet away from where the 2-inch stops. If a thrust hits the T, it's gonna pull on everything. It might damage the 2-inch pipe.
Yeah, 100%.
Never happened before, but
Yeah.
we didn't bleed at it.
Well,
either.
the further you get away from it, the more ground burial you
Right.
have between it, the
The weight
much less likely that is. So this is where, and that's exactly why when it goes from the 4 to 2, you could put a thrust on that 4x2 if you wanted to be overprotected. I mean, it is a technical thrust point, but we are not concerned about the immediate area. You are talking, like you said, 75 feet away. Do I have any concern with it? No. But again, you're there, you're doing it if you wanted to do it,
I think that close to 300 something feet that it runs down Bergdorf, that's enough fused pipe for me to
It's a
not
lot.
worry about the thrust coming this way.
No.
But 75 feet, I think the physics, depending upon what it's packed in,
That may be an easier location to use a half yard precast block, especially where it's not a massive concern, because trying to get it, you only got about that much face to actually set the block, but believe it or not, it's more about the surface area of the thrust block, not the actual pipe, but you only have so much to get on there with. So again, if you prefer pouring, I'm just not, you would just plastic the pipe and they would form up to it. You're essentially pouring I mean, at that point you could talk about pouring the T in concrete, but you got options. So I would say this is not gonna be my forte on, on thrusting method, but we've used rocks for the most part, so, it's,
So the village used to use, the village used boulders when it was an 8-inch
yeah.
blue
yeah.
brute main, and
Slip joint, we've come across them, it's fun. Every time we come across a really large rock, we go, whoa, might be a
Yeah.
thrust block. you gotta slow down, because
Wow.
you're not removing a thrust from somewhere.
not sure they went against undisturbed earth either.
No.
I think that's everything on the Aspen Bergdorf pipe. Its name changed now that Aspen is getting a main. Someday I'll sit down and figure out how much it cost us not to have good documentation on what was already there.
I mean, it was at least, I'd say at least 2 days of exploratory that was
Yeah,
fruitless.
easy.
And then, 2 more days for the actual installation, which is what we had planned for originally, put the whole T in, but that was just to add the valve uphill. But yeah, you're talking full 2 days of
And would
looking
you-
at that intersection.
Would you agree that a $30,000 to $40,000 map project, or maybe two $30,000 to $40,000 map projects, wouldn't have alleviated this problem that we ran into?
Would it have?
Would it have? No, not at all.
I doubt
No.
it.
So,
It's just lack of documentation previously.
Period.
I mean, we can document what we have now, for sure, and I don't, again, I'm on record.
if you don't
I-
have
I-
documentation and you map that you don't have documentation,
Every map
you
we
don't get
look at,
anywhere.
we were looking at, which we'll talk about here in a minute, the Lugano leak, but, it's all wrong. I mean, it's all like where it's interconnected and which things are dead ends and pipes, that's all a matter of, I shouldn't say it's all wrong. By no means is it all wrong. It's 90% accurate, but it's just, it's everything with a grain of salt, you know what I mean? So again, without that documentation to show, oh, they eventually looped these lines, or they did this, or they did that, it's kind of, it's what you know, not what's been documented. So, yeah, it's, no map would have compiled the
wouldn't have
information,
helped it.
shown a clearer picture, but it wouldn't have told us this.
Do you two have a good handle on what we're doing here?
Yeah, and probably off the bid package is where we'll get most of the information, but I'm thinking at the same time, we should be setting up some type of procedure for moving forward water projects.
Oh, like
So that
standard
there's
procedures.
standards,
Yeah.
And I don't think we have such a thing yet
I-
at this point, I'm not familiar with it, and I think I'd be
You're
more.
talking about for water main?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so for putting in, water mains and blow-offs and
I think this has been
connections
a-
and set up a
I mean, talking
procedure
about
for using the fused
Yeah.
pipe
What's
instead of
necessary.
something
Well, we
else.
voted
and-
to make fused pipe the standard.
Yes.
Right.
We're not gonna use,
Slip joint.
slip joint blue
Right.
board anymore.
Right, but we should turn this into like a procedure
I think
moving
that-
forward,
So- If the procedure, well, I should probably say this, the procedure that we're doing with this was an agreement between me and Nick, that this didn't have to be a DuBois and King engineered project with the bid package, and he sent me everything I needed to put in for the technical language that backs up all of their bid packages, standard language on
Oh,
on AWWA specs on, stick it in there. They cover themselves that
The
way.
boilerplate
He's
stuff.
saying, here, cover yourself, put
Yeah,
our
and
stuff in there.
SF61
Right.
and,
And he said, you're running a pipe and you know enough to,
yeah,
right? That's not gonna be true when we do the, PRV vault on Como.
Right,
That's gonna be a fully bid package project by DuBois and King.
itself,
Mhm.
yeah.
and maybe I'm misunderstanding where you're going with that, but I mean, I think that if what you're just thinking of, and what I think of in that conversation is like the Thusis extension and how that one went, and how to try to have like a plan moving forward with that, so that like, if and when, I think you guys are gonna find, I think it slowed down a little bit this year, but you know, more and more you're gonna get those remote lots people wanna build on and people wanna put pipe out to, and you know.
Right, and where the blow-offs would be, and using the
Yeah.
hydrants and thrust blocks, and this isn't written down as
Right,
a
and what's
procedure
the
for
standard,
water
right.
projects anywhere. And I'm just sort of thinking, as we're doing a couple of major projects in this year and next year, that we should be
Come up with-
compiling the information into some type of standard,
Yeah,
SOP.
you know?
You have your water ordinance does dictate stuff, but it's outdated, you know, I think
Yeah.
it required 8-inch ductile iron or 6-inch ductal iron or something on new installs, which is just not what we don't really want that
I
in the
guess-
system.
I don't have a clear handle on exactly what you're saying is, there are standards that Nick is following, right? That we don't have to document.
I see.
There's industry standards on how all this stuff is done.
Right.
All the thrust block stuff, there's a 30 websites that will show you illustrations and spell out how it's done in different states.
Okay,
So, that's why I was saying, this project, Nick is saying, it's running a water main, and there's not a lot to it, it's where the fittings
Right.
are that I'm nailing down.
yes,
And other than that, we're not gonna be doing it this way, all the other projects. So, the standards are what Nick's engineering standards are for the way he designs stuff, and he's following industry standards.
If,
Are we talking on the same level?
We are.
I'm not even sure, okay.
Oh,
I'm getting both sides.
okay.
I'm
I
understanding
was
both
maybe
sides.
me reading into what you were starting off with. I thought you meant from like an asset management point of view.
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda,
from all the points of view.
from all different points
Okay,
of view.
I didn't think initially standards, because like you said, there are standards.
I think she's just afraid of directions that it's going in the future, when they decide to do things.
That can happen with the change of a board.
That's what I'm saying, and I
Right,
think
but
that's
if
what
we
she's
have a
thinking
written
about.
procedure, it makes it harder for a future board to ignore it.
Oh, yeah?
Well,
Could you turn something like that into policy, like certain aspects of,
So,
you
just
know what I
to,
mean?
I'll throw my,
yeah.
my.
we'll get to the water ordinance, and that
Did you guys
might
leave?
change some of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, we're gonna do a,
Yeah.
big fun thing here, but I think what's important to me is that, let's say, a month from now, somebody buys a lot down on the end of class 6 XYZ
Yeah.
and wants a water main run down.
Yeah.
Nick, more than likely, unless you guys require all water mains to be engineered, which they could pick their own and get approved by your engineer, however you wanna do it, outside
Yeah.
of having every single one of those engineered, which would be unlikely, there would be, or unless you make it happen, typically, they would just be told to follow current building standards and things of that nature, and we tell them what kind of pipe, but it would be nice to have some concrete stuff, same way that we have a water ordinance that we hand out for a residential install, that there's no questions, you're gonna use CTS, you're gonna have it 6 feet deep,
Yeah.
you're gonna have sand, you're gonna have, as the operator and the inspector on those things, the more, I always call it the management of expectations, right? The more that's laid out, the less I'm fighting with contractors over
Correct.
stuff. And
That's
just
kind of what I'm
because,
thinking.
you know,
Yeah.
people being expected to do things to the standard in the right way, and then you start arguing over a poured thrust block over an unpoured, or even the location of a thrust block, and they're gonna try to tell you, it
Will
doesn't
happen,
matter,
yeah.
you can do this, and I'm fine, and you're like, well, it's just our standard, but if there's a standard that we actually have,
Yeah.
you know, outside of just saying AWWA standards or you know, building code XYZ standard or whatever, I would be a big proponent of it. I'm not talking about a huge overthought thing, just that you guys currently expect all pipe that's installed as a water main to be 4-inch HDPE with poured in place thrust blocks at every point that could be considered a risk, and you know, every dead end will be installed with a 2-inch blow off hydrant that's this make and model or similar, and
That's exactly
Great,
what.
that's kind of what I'm thinking.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what she's saying.
That
That-
makes sense, okay.
you know, you have a number, like we talked about the blow off hydrants, you have a number of options on those, and we would say it's gotta be this, and if you have specific things that you like about that blow-off hydrant, I'm
And
not
why
exactly.
not make it, yeah.
Well, you might have a different, you might have a Watts versus a, I don't know, whatever,
Yeah.
that, as long as they do the same thing, you can't really cut people's legs off on it unless,
Yeah.
I mean, some precincts will have, every single hydrant you install has to be a Waterous XYZ model so that
Right.
the inventory we carry matches what people are putting in the ground, and that would be
Right.
totally normal. So like say that this make and model hydrant is matching the others and we wanna that'd be totally normal to say there is no
This is
or
the
equivalent.
standard.
This
Right.
has to be it, or we supply them or whatever. But yeah, I'm 100% on board with having like a 2 or 3 page document that just
Yep,
dictates.
Yeah,
And it would honestly probably, when that main extension happened, I tried to talk to the contractor how to do it himself, because I don't think they quite knew what they were getting into.
I see.
And I think if he had to go back again, actually I know, if he had to go back again, he wouldn't do it.
Uh-huh.
Because everything's always a little more entailed than what you see the numbers, you go, oh, 7,000 material, I can do that, that's for 20, I'm not paying 28 grand for that, and then you get into it and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a little bit more than I anticipated, so, it might give people a better idea of what they're getting into too, so.
One of the
Fine.
things, we won't do what they did on Thusis, which is turn it over to the property owner, to the contractor, building contractor of the house.
Literally, yeah.
We're not doing that again.
no,
no, we
No,
made that-
definitely not.
We made that
And we're gonna
clear.
need conversations like this right before we do a project, so it'll be, whatever you wanna document
Yeah,
about what's a standard in the village before we launch into a pipe project. As long as it's Nick, I think he's gonna let us do pipe installations, just,
Yeah, pipe replacements,
Like this.
small extensions,
Yeah.
And then when
stuff you
it's-
can handle.
then when it's a major facility of the water system, like a PRV
Yep.
vault, or anything to do with tanks or the pumping system.
yeah.
right.
That's
Yeah, we
all.
always,
That's all gonna be engineered.
It has to
And
be.
then I don't think it would be prudent for, somebody to not have that properly engineered. And we had already said that we were planning on setting this PRV, at Como, as a standard
Right,
moving forward.
this would
Correct.
be
You
the way
know,
they
so
all-
that would be something else
Yeah,
that would
so that's
simply be listed
exactly.
out as, this is how we do these
Yeah.
things.
Including
Yeah.
the bid package for that Como is just modified for the other places that.
Yeah.
Right, that we
with-
need them,
With the oversight of Nick as we do those,
right,
changes to the bid packages for the next installation
Yeah.
that we do.
yeah,
So,
so that's kind of what I'm thinking.
yes.
so when this project is over, whatever you want to add to our water ordinance that you see that would cover making it standard for out of this project, let's do that.
Yeah, I think that's huge, I think that's
Okay.
definitely the way to go.
Okay,
Enough
Even
on,
if it's 3
Yep.
or 4 pages
Right.
long, it is what it is,
Yep,
yeah.
no, it's perfect, that's perfect on my end, and then if, once you get that rewritten, I'll look it over again, let you know if I got any thoughts on it. And I
Oh,
think
yeah, yeah.
Just spelling out for this current project, just spelling out the things that we want in it is just the most important thing, so that there's not, again, if we're gonna supply every material outside of the straight line pipe, not including fusing machine or anything, I presume, and then all incidental materials are gonna be the responsibility of the contractor. I would specify that you have the port in place, thrust blocking, and that's not optional, that is what you want. I mean, the fill, I think I put in the email, we're not even that big of a stickler, we just want sand essentially, yes, it protects the pipe, but just more for locational, purposes, cause HDP, you use sidewall and this stuff is like, it's, I don't know what it is, 3/4 of an inch thick, it's crazy. They'll probably fuse everything on the top of the ground and drag it in with a D10 or something, and, so, it's a very, very resilient pipe, so it's more about just getting an envelope for when you're digging to find it with the metal tape and all that standard stuff is all expected,
now
so.
Nick specified, just one more fact that I didn't write into it. Nick specified that the 4-inch main that goes under the Bergdorf culvert is 48-inch culvert. It's a big culvert.
Yep,
They packed it heavily in 1.5-inch stone, I
Mhm.
guess. Stewart did test holes on either side of it and didn't see any rock until he was down 13 feet. Then he found solid rock, but that's not in play.
okay,
Nick says the top of the 4-inch pipe needs to be 18 inches from the bottom of the 48-inch culvert.
Say that one more time. The top of
The top of the 4-inch water main that's coming down Bergdorf, it's gonna go under
Under
the
the
48-inch culvert. He
Yeah.
wants 18 inches clearance between the bottom of the 48-inch culvert and the top of the,
I assume he's considering freeze protection there. Is that why he wants that like that?
that's why he's specifying
Yeah, yeah.
how far down it is,
Okay.
yeah. He thinks that's fine.
Okay.
The
Oh,
exposure
okay,
is.
gotcha.
Yeah, it's something I always worry about, but that's because that's already how deep in the ground is that culvert already? Like the top of that culvert's a few feet deep, right?
Right, it's probably 6 feet down.
Wow,
So
Oh, gotcha.
yeah.
jeez.
The bottom of the culvert's 6 feet down.
And are they horizontal boring under that, or are they digging?
I heard different techniques. Two contractors had two different
Okay.
ways of
Yeah, it's their
doing it.
it's their means and
It's
method.
gonna be their, whatever they
As
prefer
long
to
as the
do.
culvert's intact when they're done and properly supported and all that stuff, right? That's all
Wow.
you care about. You don't tell them how to
To
do
give
it.
you an idea, one contractor was gonna take a ductile iron pipe,
Drive it under.
drive it through,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and drag the 4-inch water main through where the ductile iron went.
That's not a terrible. I was honestly thinking as
Oh,
we
it's
were
like a
just all
sleeve.
talking about that as like a sleeve under
Yeah.
there just in case. But you know, who knows? There's nothing you're ever gonna. I mean, you're gonna take every precaution.
All
you
I
can to
wanted
protect
is
it.
to be 18 inches.
yeah. That's you don't care how they do it. We just care that they get it. That yeah. So again, specify all that detail in there, and I think that just takes away. The more we can put in the base contract, the less people will be coming back and trying to ask for. Oh, well, this is not what we thought we were getting into. So. Like I said, I'm happy to review it as one of those guys
Oh,
who looks
yeah.
for those things that that weren't in it. So, perfect. All right, I'm good on that. We'll do a final review on your plan, and that'll be good.
Somehow I thought this would all be done months ago, the whole project done.
It's
What?
crazy, isn't it?
No
Well,
way.
You have
It
to go in,
seemed-
you have to go into every project with that good attitude,
It's
Yeah.
it
and then
seems
reality.
it definitely seemed more straightforward than it's become. So it goes, as is typically the case, unfortunately. So if we're done on that end, I mean, I put a couple other things in the email. We had the leak on Lugano
Yeah.
that was reported. Obviously, we've been keeping an eye on that. It's nothing crazy. We actually have. We had slotted tomorrow potentially with weather, but we're looking at the shutdown and not exactly sure. One, we don't know what we're going to find for the leak, so I don't know if it's going to be on the main or a service line, and depending on where it is,
Wow.
obviously dictates what we're going to be having to isolate to deal with it. Try to get 3-inch material on hand, so whatever we run into, that's what it's shown as for pipe. So have that just in case it's on the main. Do you guys have any thoughts on digging into that, or?
It looks like it was in the same place that it was dug up, it cut out and dug up before.
Yes, it does.
So I don't know if, and that wasn't a service line, that was the main.
I don't recall.
You don't remember, okay.
Yeah.
So all the paint marks, was that,
That was.
were you guys landing a plane on
I
that?
know. I apologize. I got pictures from my guy Kyle. And I said, "What are you doing?" That was. One thing he said, I was like, "Did you do that?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, well, you know, nice job with your assumptions, but that is
So I was out there.
that is heavily painted."
Yeah.
Wow.
So apologies, but they'll fade with time.
We'll see it next spring.
Yeah, next spring it'll be gone. But yes, so I think he had some assumptions. He was finding all the curves and trying to guess where stuff was going, and
Oh, yeah.
you know. But it was good exercise for him. But
Yeah.
it doesn't seem as though it's going to be on a service line based off where they are. I mean, obviously we don't know where they get tapped and run, but
We won't know until you get there.
yeah, more than likely, I believe it's going to probably be some glued fitting or something that's just pulled apart, or it could be who knows. So, I mean, really all we can bring is a couple of 3-inch dresser couplings, and anything outside of that, it's like, well, we'll be either backfilling and ordering material, or if North Conway has it, or Lower Bartlett or something, getting it from them, to try to get it done in a day. But these things always, it's not uncommon for them to turn into a exploratory, find out what you got, and then depends on how quickly we get to it. You guys know how it goes. It's just it's hard saying what the day will bring. So now our isolation, it looks like we should be able to isolate just kind of a couple sections of Appinvale, like Lugano feeds up and allegedly dead ends down towards, I think, your way, and then over towards the Jungfrau intersection, if you will, and how that interconnects, I'm just not 100% sure. We've gone around in loops on that, as to whether or not the only mapping we have show whether the valve that we tried to locate that we couldn't get down to 10, 15 years ago, that was part of that was to find out where in the hell that valve was actually feeding, because you can shut it off and it shuts off water, but where and what, how was kind of a question mark. So
In the project for the Rhineac tank,
yeah,
it's specified that they're gonna install a new valve at the top of Logano. And they didn't do it.
I was gonna say that would be fantastic, but if it's not there, then that's too bad. You know, this is
Makes me wonder whether we should put the valve in now.
well, it would be. We just talked. We got an extra 4-inch. I could get a 3-inch. I mean, obviously, it would take a couple days. Probably, I think next Tuesday we could have a 3-inch on site. I would love that personally. I think that anywhere we can add valving. This is a perfect example. When you look at a little road like Logano that has 2 or 3 houses on it, this feels like it doesn't, like, oh, okay, well, if you don't have isolation at the intersections, any place, I mean, I'm thinking this is gonna be a system-wide shutdown when we do this.
No
So,
kidding.
Are you saying there's no valves at the bottom of Logano?
there's valves at the bottom. So we have a 3-valve cluster, Idlewife Drive, going up Logano to shown pretty good depiction of a couple 8-inch valves and a 3-inch heading up. Nothing documented for 3
There's
inches.
no other shut off between the top of Lugano till you get to Jungfrau?
That valve at the corner of Jungfrau and Abbeville. Now,
That's it?
sweeps around to the beach, we got a 3-valve cluster there, but where I'd have to isolate that is also going to isolate everything. So now kind of, at that point, it's not worth the time shutting off much of that. You're shutting off the entire system at that
Yeah.
point anyhow. So, trying to think of who would still be live. I guess Jungfrau down to Aspen Gretchen would be the only, that leg of line would be the only thing that would remain live if we didn't shut off the tank, so I guess
So you're gonna have to shut off a big area to fix the leak.
if it's on the main.
And it's another day to actually do the valve at the top.
Mhm.
It's not like you're gonna do it while in one day, the two things.
More
So
than likely not.
Yeah.
we'll get to the valve at the top of Lugano another day.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
that's a separate trip anyway,
Yeah, I mean,
which means it'll never happen.
what's that? Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, we could discuss, there was a period of time, I mean, it's a long time ago now, but we use these valve clusters we installed a lot as part of, like the one we're putting in right now over at the Bergdorf Aspen intersection. But we put them in a number of locations that are our primary, places that we identified should be small zones that require very large shutoffs for shutdowns. And maybe for next construction season, we could look at adding in, 2 or 3-way valve clusters at a few, pick some more spots. That's really the worst area is still that, because that Appenvale intersection, that Jungfrau Appenvale intersection, anywhere that you got like the main water feed without ample valve shutdowns, would require the whole system to go.
There is a valve at the bottom of Aspen and then where Aspen comes into Appenville Way.
Yep, and that's
There's a
to a
valve that
dead
got its head cover cut off.
Yeah,
right?
I
don't know if they ever fixed it.
That's heading up to a leg of line, dead end extension on that kind of uphill between Upper Aspen and Appenville, I guess.
Where Aspen goes uphill and dead ends the pipe
Yeah.
before it goes up to
You
Bristenstock.
got- yeah, so that's a dead end line heading up there, that's what that valve at the bottom feeds. Because we checked
That wouldn't
that
help
out.
us in this project
Not
at
in
all.
this
then.
project.
Another thing that has to be fixed though.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we have a repair, we got a couple blow offs and stuff that need to get done before fall.
Alright, so you're gonna fix Lugano when you get an
So,
opening to do it.
yeah, I mean, we originally had tomorrow, but we thought we had a much smaller isolation than we do. I think this afternoon, we're hoping to get over there and maybe do a prep shutdown and see. There's a chance that it's just going to be Lugano and Appenvale dead ending there, but that's not how I know the system to work. So, we're gonna try it, see what happens and go from there. So I think this isn't the time I think we're gonna have to probably shove that back if, I don't wanna shut down the entire system, no notice on a Wednesday in the middle of summer, so,
It's not a bad leak from what you
it's not
see.
bad enough
Seems
to,
to have
No.
diminished
it's
from the
just,
first time I saw it too.
it's,
Yeah.
and I mean.
They found
we
a new
all-
way to make it into
We
the
by no
program.
means have a massive jump in usage, we're running about 100,000 a day,
Yeah.
110.
Yeah, 110, so.
Not outwardly crazy for summertime, So no, by no means is this like we're keeping an eye on usage, obviously, if it starts to tick up, this might, or if we see visual sign of that, Jeff to call me if it starts to actually wash the road out and it looks like it's a dangerous spot or something. But if you guys are comfortable with that, then I would say that's the.
I'd almost tell you, if we're not seeing a big leak, one of the things I did, where the brush grows up at that intersection when you're sitting in a car, not a truck, when you're sitting in a car, you can't see down Idleways Drive. So I go in there and cut that brush back, cause I
Gotcha.
come down that way, and that's not a good intersection to be pulling out into Idleways Drive with a
Yeah.
truck coming down.
No.
So while I was cutting the brush down, I did notice that the amount of water that's off the road in the brush is like 1.5 inches deep.
Oh.
So I think that leak has changed nature,
Kinda
and
running
the
under and-
water that we saw coming out of the road
Sure.
now has made its way underground and coming up where you can't see it so
Yeah.
easily.
And it's,
Wow.
I would guess it's probably a 5 gallon per minute leak, 10 gallon per minute leak maximum, which isn't completely minor, but it's also maybe not, like I said, maybe not the time to,
So do you
Just
wanna,
the whole
do you
system.
wanna wait and do this all in one trip?
the 3 valve, the valve and the.
Well, fix the problem at the bottom of Lugano, instead of coming out and doing an investigation and then having to come back again.
Yeah, the only question I have on that, or the only problem I have on that is, I mean, I'm gonna assume it's 3-inch pipe, that's all we have for information, so barring it end up being something different, when we go to do it, we have all our stuff prepped.
So you wanna
and then-
see the pipe as soon as possible.
I do, but I also get worried about disturbing a leak and then backfilling it, cause it tends to
Yep.
make it worse. So when I've opened up the ground around it, it kinda lets it shift and move, and I don't have isolation really that well
So that's an
figured out.
argument to wait and do it all in one trip.
Yeah, so I'm
So what are you choosing?
Yeah, what do you think? You got an opinion on the matter?
I wanna see if we, see what that valve
I think
does.
step one, if I can send you an email and tell you what we wanna do, if I can figure out this isolation, we're gonna spend
Yeah.
some more time out just sweeping the dirt and looking for maybe some valves that are lost to history. We wanna find that 3-inch valve heading up Lugano and shut it off for 5 minutes and just see if we lose water pressure. If we do, that's great news. That would lead me to wanna dig it tomorrow and just see it, and then if I
Okay.
have a big problem, I at least can shut it off and, do what we gotta do. We gotta, like anything, we will always get it running again, it's just what it takes, so, but if I don't feel good with the isolation, I'm thinking it's a whole system shutdown, I'll probably try to get as much potential material on hand and then deal with it, so, let me see what we find for isolation valving, shutdown procedure, and then let you know what my best assumed course of action is.
And in some ways, it's kind of good, it's the middle of August, so if we are in a position where it doesn't seem like it's terrible or getting a lot worse,
Yeah,
waiting until after
September 5th.
Labor Day,
Yeah,
Okay.
might be beneficial.
we're only talking 2 or 3 weeks of this.
Exactly, that's what I
Right.
said, we're already in the middle of August,
Pretty
so,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't be.
That would be my, yeah, almost, without it worsening, that's, honestly, talking about that's gonna be the lean. So as long as you guys are comfortable knowing we got a active leak and everything, let's just say, even if we find halfway decent isolation over there, let's just say the best course of action is just waiting until after Labor Day. Doing a Tuesday dig so that we have the week to deal with it, and,
Sure.
okay,
Right.
we can easily slide that back there, so.
Yeah, and it also let a notice get posted and stuff like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
for
your proper
a
notice
pending,
Potential
pending
system-wide outage.
potential,
Yeah.
water
Water
interruption.
Yep, been a while since it shut down the whole system, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Never my favorite thing to do.
no,
Not
Lot
for
of air,
everybody.
lot of air, so,
Yeah.
And the slowdown in population after Labor Day is not like it used to be.
no, I know, it's crazy.
yeah, it's not
It
as
will
much as
drop.
it used to be, but,
At least it's not vacation rentals
It
and,
goes down a little bit.
right, it does
And
drop a
really
little.
depends on the weather, it's not renters, contracted renters, it's
Yeah.
homeowners.
yeah,
Mhm.
definitely increase the total occupancy here.
Okay, we done with Lugano.
I am done with Lugano.
There's not much to talk about with the uranium
Okay.
system. I forwarded your email of yesterday to Nick. Because
Okay.
the critical thing for us is to have Nick make his report to DES,
Yeah.
which
Gotcha.
was due at the end of July, I think.
I think,
Actually, it was at the I think it was July 7th.
Yeah.
Oh,
beginning of July, yeah.
Or the 14th,
But
something
we've
like that.
kept in touch with them, they
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that
no,
we're
they're
working
good.
on it, they weren't sweating it, they
Yeah.
weren't tapping us at all.
No, no, you guys.
But I wanted to get Nick squared away with that, so we'll see, we need to talk to Nick
Okay.
after he sees yours. The amount of equipment that is now being spec'd, does that fit on the footprint of the new
Yep.
concrete floor?
What we'll probably end up having to do is stagger the units in and out, so like instead of a row across the wall, they'll
Yeah.
come, you know, kinda zigzag in
And
and
Noah
out.
can actually go in the room with the equipment in there, there's enough
What?
room for him to get in there?
Who's this?
Noah can
Yeah.
get.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Little guy.
Well, he's a small guy.
That's
We
why I
gotta,
chose him.
yeah, we gotta always have the tunnel crawlers on the team, you know? Guys like me can't fit everywhere, so we gotta have, guys that still can.
Yeah, wow.
But no, it'll end up being protruding from the wall instead of being a profile of a foot and a half, 18 inches, it'll be 24 to 30 inches out from wall, so it's, you're not talking a major, it's just, like I said, just staggering units in and out. They had a difference on, instead of doing like a backwash, so obviously, none of this incorporates like a brine backwash or anything like that, but, piping it so that we can relatively easily, it'd still be a 10-15 minute process, but you can make it so you can just kind of flip the direction and just take it offline, so if you ever had a sediment buildup, blowing it out, they said you have much better removal on downflow, and your water quality seemed like it was good enough for that.
So if you're flushing non-uranium product out of the system,
Yep,
is there a installed drain, or are you gonna run a hose out of the building
run
through
the
the door?
hose,
and
we'll literally just blow it
That's
out.
fine.
All you will
It's not
not
happening
get,
that
there's
often.
no separation of uranium from media.
No,
Virtually impossible. This is just like if there was like a manually backwashing head that we moved a lever, all that would be doing is going out a pipe, same, you know, would have had a pipe that it went out, that just went to discharge out, you know, in a gray water
are these the
system.
cylinders, the size that Nancy and I saw at the Rock House facility, they were?
No, they're gonna be significantly smaller.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
Yeah.
You talked about more smaller ones at the very beginning.
Exactly,
so
they're more
I wonder if
manageable, so
that's
they're
what
12 by
you-
Yeah.
52 inch. So those over at Rock House are probably somewhere around 18 by 60 or something, but it's the, you know, your circumference of the tank adds a lot of media volume, and then that's weight and access, door, you know, these can be all moved by, what would happen when these get used up in 20 years or something is they'll get, the whole thing will just get hauled off.
Right.
It'll be, you know, they won't.
So how many of these cylinders are we talking
So
about?
we're talking 8 now, so you're having a reduction by going down flow about 2 gallons per minute per unit. So that would be a grand total of 64 gallons per minute would be, which that's about what the well does. I mean, and it's not, if they want them pushing 9 or, you know, we're not concerned about that. I mean, when the well is at its fullest point, it has the highest flow rate as the water level drops and you're increasing head pressure to get up, it reduces. I think we were about 60 to, and then it would drop as low as maybe 52 to 50 gallons per minute. So Nick had a question on if that, there's obviously no ill effect from reduction in flow on that. They don't need to maintain a minimum flow for removal or anything. They could have a quarter gallon a minute going through them. It doesn't
Right.
hurt anything. And even if you were to increase your maximum flow, I guess your percentage of removal might not be guaranteed at 99% anymore. Maybe it goes down to 98% or something, but you're still obviously well above the problem
Threshold,
point, so,
yeah.
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 So, no real concern or anything like that. I've never seen the flow over 64 gallons a minute, so, I don't, it's very, for the most part, outside of the depth of the well, and it would almost always be full because we're using it so little. Maintains right there, about 58, 60, 62 gallons per minute, so.
Alright, so we'll wait to hear back from Nick whether he needs anything else from us.
Just, I'm curious, I did read everything on this, and it says that we're not really concerned about having these tanks, uranium filtration tanks, replaced for but maybe up to 10 years.
I would venture, depending on how much, it all depends on how much we end up using Muddy Beach, but if
Which-
we're gonna use it as minimally as we're expecting, then yeah, it'll
Right,
be well.
my question is, how do you know? Was there some,
So as he dictated, now you guys are gonna do quarterly sampling like you do all the
The
time.
test.
These things don't have like a breakthrough, like it's a slow failure of media. So I mean, you could be as proactive or as you want. You want to do your own monthly sampling on it to keep an eye on it. By all means, $45 sample. You pull a finished water sample. You do your thing. Most systems just pull their uranium samples, and when it goes from 0, 0.8, 2.1, 1.3, it's gonna be just hovering around there, and all of a sudden it goes to 1.9, 2, next quarter it's 2.3, next quarter it's 3.1, you go, oh, okay, I think we're starting to have breakthrough on that.
Okay, so it's not as simple as like a gauge on the tank saying, oops,
No.
you've maxed out
No.
on your uranium that are in these tanks.
Unfortunately, it's just a test and
It's the
test and
testing.
see. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the way everything's handled with these arsenic, uranium. I mean, any of those things don't have like immediate breakthrough. It's not like, oh, all the media is saturated and you've hit a saturation point. What essentially happens is your upper level of media has become fully saturated.
Yeah.
So now instead of having 2 cubic feet per unit, you have 1.5 cubic feet per unit, and then you have 1.25. So depending on your flow rate, more is
Right.
passing through than what is dictated to be able to get through it. So you just start to see a climb in your uranium
Wow.
numbers.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
So, and there are options. I talk about haul off on these. I guess we'll see what the common practice is in 20 years or 10 years or whatever it is, because maybe it's gotten better. But as they noted, and I think maybe it doesn't go without saying, but these are non-regenerating, so they become, the little hot spots after about the first 2,000 gallons per unit. You're holding on to uranium half-lives. But it's in the building. It is what the state's approved it, or will approve this in your situation. It's the approved method for uranium removal in communities. So you will have like a charged unit in there, and you just gotta, knowing there's a company that comes and grabs them. That's what their whole model is getting rid of these
yeah.
uranium laden vessels. So,
Hazardous waste, okay.
yeah, has waste. So we are creating it. So they can go put it in a mountain bunker somewhere,
Somewhere,
or bury it in a
What do they do
landfill, or
with it?
whatever they intend to do.
Kentucky
with it.
or something.
Once the cylinders are loaded, they might show some radioactivity.
For sure.
But it's not the radioactivity that's the problem with uranium in the water system.
No.
I read it's the fact that it's a heavy metal.
Yep.
That any heavy metal in water is not good for
Yeah.
humans.
Yeah.
Right.
Liver,
So it's
kidney,
interesting is people
bone
freaking
cancer.
out about the radioactivity,
Has
and it's not
very
that.
little to do with it. No.
Right.
Because when you're collecting it and discharging it immediately, it doesn't do anything. It's when it does what we're doing, which is collecting and sitting in a single spot, it starts to break down.
Wow.
That's when radioactivity for people actually entering the building. But again, we're in there for 5 minutes. We'll get them in a nuclear suit.
Yeah,
We'll look like Fallout 4 out there.
Get your Geiger counter.
And it takes some time for it to build up in there.
Oh,
Takes-
yeah.
I mean, you'll start to pretty quickly. It would show up with like a Geiger counter or something, first year in, but it's minimal, and you got to be within feet of it, in order to have any effect, and no one spends any amount of time really at them. So
And that's the other reason we're sending nowhere in.
that's right. He's very durable, very durable. So.
They'll stay skinny.
Yeah, so that's good. They got, I think, a final plan on that. Nick can review it and decide how and what and if he wants any changes on that. I did send an update on pricing, and I think for the 2 extra units it went up slightly, but and if Nick makes changes or wants something different, we can obviously adapt as needed. So, okay, I think that's. Do you have any?
Maybe just the caustic,
Oh yeah. Did Lisa order that with you?
What?
Caustic.
Not yet.
Okay.
okay.
I'll make sure she pulls the
Good
trigger
to
on
know.
that. Yeah, we got like 100 gallons
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
All right, great.
Which is
Okay.
fine. I think
Yeah.
they usually come in 2 weeks, but, so we'll get that ordered. I'd like to just do kind of a full-on maintenance day or 2 days at the pump houses, grease pumps, change out diaphragms and chem pumps, change out check valves in the pits, check just kind of go around and do like a cleaning on the pump houses, just kind of do like maybe I'd say in the next month or so, kind of heading into fall before it comes.
That's a great point for the heaters, things like that, test those.
Yeah.
Test all our heaters
Yep,
out.
yep.
I think we might have a lingering issue still at
Jungfrau.
With the
Yeah.
heater?
Yeah. It wasn't working, then it was working, then it's not working, so it gets like stuck on, which
Jeez.
Last was Dave couldn't shut it off. It was
killed it at
on
the breaker, and yeah, the thermostat's messed up in it, so
I thought we fixed that.
well, me too. My electrician's, some days I wanna murder him. You
Yeah,
remember Justin?
we still have a project that we want a transfer switch on the outside of Jungfrau so we can bring it.
DPW and Jungfrau?
Yeah.
We already have one at DPW, we do, right?
Not that I know
I
of.
don't think so.
Okay, I would
would want one for both.
high suggestion, do one of both, just cause
Gotcha.
if you're pumping out of Youngfrau, you gotta be pumping up from DPW and
Right.
tens. If you lose DPW,
That's three-phase though, right?
They're both,
so it's three-phase converted, I'd have to ask Justin, yeah, you have three-phase power down there, but I.
Youngfrau is single-phase and
It is.
the VFD pumps do their own conversion, right?
The VFDs convert there, you have
But-
full three-phase coming into that garage.
Right, so
So
that's a
it'd be
different,
three-phase down to the
different
well
whole
pump.
setup.
You're right. Let me at least ask him what he's got down there, but yeah, that would be a different ball of wax, a lot more expensive. So, Youngfrau does tend to be the one that lingers on being out.
That's why we want to put
Yep.
a switch on there.
Okay. Yeah, cause they do take 113 a little faster than, they take care of 113 a little faster. We had him check out the VFD controller, he was down here, amongst other things, was looking at that heater, but anyway, I digress. He checked out, we had a couple faults on that, on the VFD pump, quick blurpy faults over the last 6 months or so. Had one, reset, no problems, had another one a month or two ago.
Yeah.
Think it might have just been dust buildup, overheating in the controller based off the fault codes and just the fact it is out in the general garage area, and I think it just got kind of dusted in around the fan motor, so that got all cleaned out, haven't had no issues with it, but I just don't wanna forget about the conversation. We are at that 7+ year mark on that pump, and while I don't see the faults we've been having, it just triggered in my brain, it's just another time, I think the first time I faulted, maybe I brought it up, and it just, I don't want to, I don't wanna forget about that, or what, if we're doing anything with that, or, I know we're talking about the Muddy Beach as the backup and everything, but just, keep that DPW pump, maybe potential replacement before winter or something, I don't know, that's just something to keep on the back of the head,
I think one of the hopes was that we could get the uranium
Definitely one of the
Up
hopes,
and
system set up
running.
Yeah.
in Muddy Beach
so we could run DPW.
so that we
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
use
to back up.
Muddy Beach for a little while while
100% the plan,
the
yeah.
pump
Yes.
got
So-
changed in DPW.
So, yeah, okay, so that guess goes hand in hand with that
Yeah.
conversation with Muddy Beach is that's kind of
Yeah,
lose track of causation here, but yeah, that's, so as we get Muddy Beach done, maybe as that gets tested out and is good,
Yep,
move right into the DPW replacement. I'm just starting to get, we'll see what it does, we'll see if it's, but I mean, everything's working good, flow rate's good, everything's good,
We'll
it
see.
just
yeah.
Yep,
feels
it's-
like that's
it's in the
about
back
how
of your head.
often, about
Yep.
how often that pump has been at failure point, so.
Mhm.
Which I do think this pump is the first one that's on the VFD as opposed to a soft start like dump valve, so it's a lot less jarring on the pump every time it starts and stops versus the old ones which are all on, all off,
Oh.
a little more hammer.
No, it had an
No?
Allen Bradley smart motor controller. It had silicon conductor SCR slow startup. The Allen Bradley unit, right from the beginning, spun that well up real slow. And it also had the valves, the hydropneumatic valves,
Had the dump valve,
but
um,
the pump never got shunted with three-phase.
could have sworn that got worked around.
I absolutely know.
Definitely not, okay, good, so then, alright, well now you've taken my ease of mind back away, so it's always slow started, so it's at the same, it's in the same
It's
risk
not
point that
different.
it was.
Whatever you know is true.
Okay, alright, so then it's always, so then it's, yeah, more of the same then, it's in the same pathway, and that's always been the lifespan on this thing, so,
Wow.
okay, cool, I think that's all I got.
I got one question.
Yes.
Are we 100% fully up on the SCADA now, the new SCADA?
As far as I know, yeah, we haven't had any, although I have not received, I haven't logged in to check alarms or anything, I haven't received any,
Good
since, it's been a
Yeah.
while since I received
That's-
alarms, so, I'll check
We
on
have it
that.
on
Were
the
you
agenda
gonna-
that-
Let me look.
do you wanna check in with
Aaron?
Aaron, or do you?
We put a call in, let me check on that, cause we actually checked in, have you guys seen him at all since
No,
that day?
not-
No, not since that day.
Okay.
Is
'Cause I
the
know-
old PC still there, turned
Yes,
on?
yeah,
So we
nobody's
wanna get
been-
that old PC.
Okay,
That's a
I'll,
liability.
I'll double back on that, cause I know we reached out and that was probably after the last meeting and I haven't, I've completely forgotten to put that in again to follow back up on that.
Yeah,
So you're taking that monkey?
I will take that monkey.
okay.
Edit this? For final startup on PC alarm system. Perfect. Okay, got that. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll let you know what we find over at Lugano, but we're on hold. We're on hold until after September, barring any major changes.
Go
Right.
find, go find those cutoff valves.
Thank you,
We're
Noel.
doing our best.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Stay cool today.
Yes.
We're gonna,
So at 10:40,
That was open.
we'll move to commissioners' reports. And as I was saying earlier, I've been continuing to work on the FEMA. Holly sent an email saying the state is trying to release the next set of checks, and I'm trying to get all of 2024 into one spreadsheet and make one request.
Okay,
And I'm sure there's more things that we could put on there, but I don't have records. I have to go with the records that I have, so that's what I'm gonna submit, and you'll see that when I'm done with that. And a higher priority is to write the bid package and spec for this pipe installation and get that going. And it sounds like it needs another review cycle where a draft should probably go to Ian for him to read before we actually release it. But I have a better handle. We needed today's meeting for sure.
yeah.
Thought that was very good. I wanted to know whether, I guess that could be in your report, I'm asking you questions during your report, but, the T2 part, I'll see what the website says as far as T2 training. It seemed like, Jeff was interested in that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
where are these held?
These are down in Durham at UNH.
They actually hold them at different locations
Depending on what the training is.
based
yeah.
on what the training
I
is.
gotcha.
So where the graders are, or where they do the
so-
grader training, I guess.
Yeah, I think there was one in Littleton that we had sent that they were doing the grader training years ago. So they do them at different locations.
Well, so do we get notifications at all on
You
these?
should get maybe, so I said Durham because it's based out of UNH, I think
Yes.
the
Oh,
T2
yeah,
center.
okay,
T2
gotcha.
So-
Center.
So if you could probe
Yeah.
around, do some
Yeah.
searches and get yourself on a mailing list for that stuff. You
Yeah.
used to get mailings over there
Yes.
all the time, so somehow that disappeared, so you
Yeah.
wanna resurrect that.
Okay,
And I'll be down trying to get time cards so I can finish
Yep.
2024 with
Yep.
FEMA. You guys did a pretty good job with Jeff getting those signs installed. The next set of signs come in today, I think. And you've instructed, they know where those are going because they're going at every entrance, every road
Yeah,
entrance.
we already, I think we already laid
That's
out
part of
that.
your,
Well, actually, when Nancy and I were going around, we originally only thought either end of Idlewice, but of course we.
But then we found them at
Yes, we found them at the major entrances
Sarnin,
off
we
of
found them
115.
at Grisson. So we found more
Really?
of the load limit signs than we
kidding.
thought.
Should we make
So the
them
major
smaller?
entrances.
should
No,
we
there-
get some of these?
There's posts.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, there was plenty of
They'll
room.
fit,
Plenty
okay,
of room.
great.
And the big ones are good because you can't miss it.
Whoa,
Nobody
yeah,
can say,
but-
oh, I didn't see that sign, I couldn't read it, it's too small.
I wanna make a note that I would like you guys to look at the entrance to the service road that goes into DPW one. If you remember when Dinah had her,
Uh-huh.
that was
Yeah.
not such great. It didn't get any better by itself. I'm saying it's worse now, and I'd like you to look at that and
I
see if
don't
you
know
can
what
even
you're
see what
talking
the
about.
original site. The service road that comes in the back way that the guys come into the garage, instead of coming in Idlewice Drive past the office,
I have no idea.
they come down the back way.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
okay,
So, if you go to the post offices, the mailboxes at Hutwell,
Yes.
you can try turning in signing and going in that way.
Yeah.
And you'll see with the service road,
yes,
if you're not
I
familiar
have,
with it.
yeah,
The signage there. I
Oh,
want them to look at. I think we need to
Okay.
invest.
I think most of that needs to be replaced at this
I
point.
I
see.
think the paint has come off those signs
I get
10
it.
years ago.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we didn't even think of that road.
yeah, but
Well,
there,
it might need
It's
its
really
own,
just a service
it
road.
might
it's
need
not-
its own unique signage.
Yeah,
Is
Yes.
to, don't,
Agreed.
you can't come down this road.
right,
Okay.
yeah,
So
Private road or
that's
something.
another thing to put on our list of things to do.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a list of painting projects that we've been kind of hinting at. And I'd like you guys, I don't know if we should go there all together on a meeting to look at the bridge across the dam. But I'd like to get a hold of a contractor and start getting some pricing on painting the deck entrance to the office, possibly the Muddy Beach Pump House, and at least the bridge across the dam. We might come up with some other things that need staining or painting.
yeah,
I talked to the highway guys last week and they suggest that we do away with the bus stop building,
really,
that the kids don't use it.
no,
In bad weather, they're inside of cars waiting for the buses to
Yes.
come, and all the bus stop is doing is collecting trash that they have to deal with every week.
mhm.
So we should probably start a community discussion on that before.
Yeah, I think we would need, I think we would wanna have a meeting
like
that we,
like a session, a public session?
Make
Yeah,
it
like-
known,
like, make it known that if we did it on a weekend or something, to give a chance for more persons to,
Oh, I see,
show up and give input.
okay,
so put that on a list of things to do, is start the discussion of the future of the bus stop housing.
Yeah, cause there's a few ideas as to how we could go ahead and almost rearrange that entire area. You know, like I'd like to see that bulletin board replaced, completely replaced, you know, almost rebuilt fully. You know, so there's some other things that we could do.
Might turn into a
Make it
warrant
bigger.
article.
It may turn into a warrant
Yeah.
article,
right,
you know?
It
You know,
should, now that I think of it, that's what we should do.
And it quite possibly, the bus stop building right now,
yeah,
is on concrete, right?
yes. It sits on something. and-
Yeah,
I think
it sits on something, I don't,
Blocks, I think.
okay, so if it just sits on blocks, then fine, otherwise I was like, are we gonna have a concrete pad sitting
you
there
could
that,
use just for something else.
that we could either use for something else,
Yeah,
or,
I see.
yeah, I don't know what's underneath that.
We'll find out.
Okay,
But you do still have to think about the garbage, that people get rid of mail and that stuff, they.
Right,
or-
yeah, that could,
and the signs that are hung on it,
in,
in the
Yeah,
little
the
library
signs
that's
that
hanging
are-
on it.
Correct,
We
Right.
need something that incorporates all that.
yeah,
right,
right,
So this could be a big thing.
yeah,
That's why I think it's a
Okay,
warrant
gotcha.
article and
yeah,
long-term planning. I sent a, email that had information about, I sent it to the office and copied you guys on it, of a grant that reimburses municipalities for getting rid of older, non-fuel efficient trucks called Clean Fleet. I don't know if you know, do you remember getting that in the flurry
yeah,
of
but
emails?
I haven't read through it,
and what,
I learned about it by watching a commissioners meeting on Madison TV.
Really?
No, commissioners, a selectmen's meeting
Oh.
where Linda started talking about it. As a result of Volkswagen defrauding the entire customer base of how fuel efficient their cars were, how their emissions were,
mm-hmm,
they had this software trick where when it was being tested, it put out good emission results, but otherwise
it didn't,
it didn't.
correct,
Well, evidently there was a court case that had millions of dollars coming in to states in the United States.
Oh,
What New Hampshire decided to do with the $7.5 million that they got was to turn it into a grant program where municipalities could get up to 90% of a new truck reimbursed for when the truck gets registered, meaning in the early process. And you needed to hear this from the beginning. Do you remember getting an email from me that had this program called Clean Fleet where they reimburse for
Yes.
trucks?
Yes.
So this is what I'm explaining is that the town is pursuing this for maybe multiple trucks.
wow,
But it's right in line with the 7400 International.
yes,
The good thing about that truck it was one of the last trucks built that didn't have all the new anti-pollution stuff on it, which made it more valuable at the time. Now, it's valuable to this grant program because I believe it's gonna qualify for up to 90% reimbursement for a brand new replacement truck that meets the standards of emissions that they're looking for. So in other words, they're taking the money that came across from Volkswagen defrauding the United States on its emissions and using it to make emissions better in municipalities by having the trucks get updated.
wow.
So,
Is it a grant process where we need an application and start
Oh,
working
sure.
on,
yes.
on something like that? Okay.
So what I'd like to do is have all of us read it and start to talk about pursuing this, and I don't know if
Yeah.
we have a lot of time to decide whether we're gonna pursue this or not, so if you can read about it and be ready to decide whether we're gonna go after this next week, that would be good.
Well, you guys need to make time to come to the office anyway, to go through
Yeah, we
Several
said we'd
things.
go through
several
the,
things. Yep,
the docs.
yep,
So when do you think that should happen?
oh, it's when you guys are,
I know I'm gonna come to do the time
Yeah.
card stuff.
yep,
We don't have to all be there. Is there a reason for us to all be there at once?
yes. I thought that's what was necessary, go through that
Oh, the,
documentation.
The boxes,
The
Yeah,
the two boxes?
The law
Yeah.
firm.
Yes.
correct,
Right, those came in, 2 boxes, you said?
Yep.
Well, we can discuss that later.
well,
Yes.
Let me
it's
finish
later
my-
on the,
I'll finish my commissioner's report.
Yep.
Okay, so we haven't, but on the clean fleet, we have till March 30th, 2026, is that when applications are due?
Yep.
Okay, so we got some time on this,
yeah, but,
but it sounds like a no-brainer, I mean, it's worth pursuing. Cause otherwise, we're talking about, you know, something the equivalent of a 7400 was, how much?
Couple
Oh.
hundred?
We could spend a couple hundred on the next truck
Yeah,
Yep.
if you want a stainless steel sander and a plow blade. and
For-
everything.
And four-wheel drive, which is something the 1800, the 1700 does not have
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
7400, yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
That's right.
So yeah, you can definitely spend some significant money on it.
so then I say we definitely need to spend some time on this and pursue it, I
Okay,
mean,
so that's done.
the
So-
worst, the worst they could say is, no, you don't qualify, but, you know, if
I don't
we
know how
do,
it couldn't,
If it's,
on an
Mm,
older
that timing
model,
is bad.
international,
that timing's very bad. Because if the applications aren't due until March of 2026, we can't have it on the warrant for 2026 unless we particularly specifically state out that this warrant article will only be acted on if we get the grant.
Well, we may not be in that situation. We may need the truck one way. If you,
or the other,
you have to
right.
talk to the highway guys. They're not thinking that the 7400 has a long life left. So that's, you need to hear, we need to talk to them in detail about that.
Yeah,
But I was already gearing up for us to start working on our strategy on trucks overall.
Right.
Not just buying one, but what are we doing? What is the long-term plan for all of them? So, I think one way or the other, we're gonna have a warrant article, so I wouldn't be concerned about that. And
Yeah.
if it lines up that it works out this way, we don't have to buy it. We need the warrant article approved, then we can pursue this and see what the timing of this is, and then make our purchase based on
The timing.
if we can make it match this optimally.
Yeah, just thinking that would be a huge warrant article.
Well, that March date is the deadline, correct?
Right, but if that's the deadline for applications, they certainly haven't reviewed them and approved anything yet.
They
That's
could take
correct.
another 6.
That could take another 6 months.
Yes, you're right.
Which would be shopping time for us anyway.
Oh, tomorrow they're holding a webinar on this at
Yep.
2 to 3 p.m. 2 to 3 p.m. I could go. I've got a doctor's appointment at 3:30, but I can do this.
You could do it in the waiting room,
Well, it's a telehealth appointment, so
split
I
screen.
just register.
There's the DES people and there's your doctor. Just don't get confused. He's registering.
Right now. Gotta
Why
learn
wait?
about this.
Exactly.
So should we go to Nancy's commissioner's report while you do that?
Okay.
Or you're already done?
I don't have really anything to report, so.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you got, Nancy?
Okay, so the first thing I have down is, and we'll get to it because it's a signature item, I did update the unassigned fund balance policy as we voted a couple of weeks ago to change it to the 50%. So we'll get to that as a signature item. The other thing is, there was a question on a warrant article in overage on a warrant article, and where that gets placed. If you are allowed to overexpend a warrant article,
Gotcha.
but it has to come, any overage has to come from the approved budget of this year. So it has to go into water, the water budget for repairs.
Not a capital
how it's
reserve.
coded.
Not a
right
capital
now.
reserve, it has to come from the budget. Now, that doesn't say that we can't move some other expenditure to a capital reserve to make room in the budget, which is one of those things that you can do at times, but it has to come from the budget.
So currently, it's on the water side, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
If it's what you're
It'd be
talking.
out of the
Yeah.
water budget,
Right,
line items for the
it
water
is
budget.
currently.
Yeah. Yeah, but we were gonna move the
That's
money
right.
to the
That's
capital reserve,
correct.
not to the capital reserve,
To the operations warrant article.
Right, so the $3,000 will go to the warrant article, anything else will come from the water budget,
Gotcha.
for
Charged
pump
to a line
house
item.
Repair
pump house repairs,
or whatever, yeah.
to a line
How
item.
it's coded, yeah. All right, gotcha. Okay.
And I think there's already, well, yeah, I saw a response on this. There was a question about class 6 roads.
Yes.
And it certainly depends on what class 6 roads. You
And I
know, and in
can't
general,
get into
we would say it's up
specifics of every
to,
single road, it's impossible.
correct.
How does Jennifer know when it is that there's people aren't, it's not justified in asking the questions that they're asking? That's like an open-ended question that
Right.
she could
Really
spend
was.
hours answering,
Yeah.
and we don't even know who this person is or whether they're
Or
in the
what,
United
or what
States.
road they're talking about.
Right. They're looking for investment information on the highest level. They
Yeah.
should be talking to a realtor,
Correct.
not tying up our office administrator.
Yeah, I don't think this is ever gonna change. It is what it is. The
Right.
calls come in and there's
But it's almost like,
proposed
should we have a
with it.
standard answer for you to make a
Well,
judgment
that
call?
was a standard.
That sounded
That's
like a
what I was
standard
looking
answer.
for. That was my standard and that's what I needed.
And I
That's
think
what
the
was looking
response-
But
for,
my answer was specific to Class 6 roads.
period.
Yes, and
I'm
that,
saying a higher level one was,
Talk to your-
that question is really better asked to a realtor. We're not doing investment guidance here.
I know, and I've said that too.
And that
but
doesn't help.
It doesn't
right.
do anything, unfortunately. But that high level response is fine with me.
No, I thought that's
And it-
perfect, that's all they need
Yeah,
to know.
and it
Right.
didn't propose more questions, which I thought could have happened, but it didn't.
Yeah,
So-
and if there are ever follow-up questions
Yes.
to that type of a
Yes.
statement of, this is how we handled class 6 roads,
Right,
refer them to a local realtor.
Yeah, and that's what
Um,
I'll say.
And,
I'll just say the
and
specifics
say
of
this is
whatever
what we
you're
can
looking
say, but
for.
there's no,
Right,
we're not gonna go looking into specifics,
We can't.
especially not if they don't
It-
mention the road. There's a
that-
lot of class six
Right.
roads.
I know.
Let's give
It
you a
could-
description
it
of
could-
every class 6 road
Yeah.
one by one.
Yeah,
As to
no,
what it has and doesn't have.
no.
And it's happened,
So,
it's
Okay.
happened, so,
and that was all I had.
okay.
So at 11 o'clock on the dot, we'll go to administrator's report. There's no scheduled appearances. So administrator's report.
Okay, so, what is this? The first one was the 47 Hutwell. His response, his application was received at the office
And
per request.
that should go to,
Non-public?
We could,
There's-
well, it should certainly go to the lawyer.
well, the lawyer does have it,
Oh, okay. All right,
but we
because
still need to do
she's
our
gonna
due
respond.
diligence. Yeah, but we need to advise her of how we feel about what we received
It was
and what he's
non-public.
provided.
Ah, okay, so that'll be a non-public
Correct.
discussion.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, great. So you answered the question, basically, was the next line item
Yep.
on the, warrant article. And then the
File
next is
review.
scheduling file and review.
I'm not thinking of that as a high priority.
The documents that came from the law firm?
Yeah. It's all a few years old.
Did you
And,
look through it a little bit?
and a lot of what's there, no, nobody's opened the boxes,
Okay.
as far as I'm aware.
No,
And probably shouldn't unless the board's there.
no,
Um,
same spot I put it.
Yeah, so I'm not thinking that's gonna be our highest priority.
Let me
well-
know when you wanna do it then.
We'll make some time, but not, like I said, I don't think,
What about all those other boxes, not the legal ones? Can we just move those up to record
Well,
storage,
I
or do
don't
we
know
need
what
to
the
go through those
procedures
too?
are. Are you supposed to look at what's in those boxes before?
no.
Okay, fine. Then
No,
yes.
once the office is done with those files,
Yeah.
they get moved to the
It's
clerks.
up to the clerk
It's up to the clerk.
arrange
And
that.
then
What years are we
Okay.
talking about?
20,
It goes back from 2017 up to 2022.
right,
I was just concerned that 2023, I'd like it not to move yet,
Yeah,
and you didn't include that, so.
yeah.
No, it's not.
17 to 22 is fine with me.
Yeah, we should always keep like a few years, like two years prior,
Yeah, and we definitely have the space
in
to
the
do that.
current, in the office.
Yeah.
But once it gets older than that, it really can go to the clerk,
Okay.
I think.
okay, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, because there are 2 boxes that I've got in a different area that are 2023.
Right,
And,
right, so we'll keep those for now,
Yep.
but the other ones I think can go up to the
All right. well,
to the storage area.
As assistant clerk, I'll take that for action to get those up to the record storage.
Okay.
I can help you move.
And then there hasn't been, and I know it's been quite a summer, but there hasn't been, last year, we did a couple of times where we were meeting up there and working with the clerk and setting up, looking through the boxes. I think there's still a bunch of boxes that are older stuff that I didn't know if we still wanted to do that type of a,
We should, we only, and that was really almost 2 years ago, we accomplished, we got like about 50% of all the existing boxes that were once in the old lodge, that then went to the DPW.
Right.
And then went up to, or the final record storage area. We got through about 50% of those boxes, and then it got too cold, and there's just been too much going on. Because that was
Right.
before you and I were commissioners.
Correct.
Right. And then we all know what happened last year, so that's just sitting there waiting for us
to purge?
to,
Or-
to review.
we go
Oh,
through them.
review.
A lot will be purged, but there are
Okay.
some documents, there's a list of requirements as to
Right,
what
there's
you-
Well,
things you
yeah,
have
the
to keep
retention.
and what their
Yeah.
retainage is,
Yeah.
you know, how long
Yeah.
they have to stay.
So
Gotcha.
so we did a high level, actually what we really should do is, we did a high-level review, and it was one of those, if in doubt, keep it. And we separated it by
Yeah.
different categories, like, oh, this is on the water system, this was on roads and maintenance, this was on employee matters. Those were all segregated out. Now we need to go through that to really figure out, can we whittle this down even further? I think we should do that even before we go through all the boxes that are still there. Remember the shelf? There was a shelf.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of documents on there, and
Yeah.
we decided, no, we probably should hold on to this for the moment till we have more time to look at it and more review. So that's my suggestion.
So we can, do you want the clerk to kind of
Yeah, let me touch base with Doug.
set it, yeah, and see what he's thinking.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's something just the clerk and myself can do, and then as assistant clerk, but then we should have the whole party up, do the party again for when we go into all the other boxes that need to be gone through,
Right.
so we can make more room up
Wow,
there.
there's a lot of stuff still, huh?
Yeah, well, everything got boxed in, got boxed up, and it got brought to the lodge at the time, and nobody ever went through
Oh, it just
anything
got
in
brought
the
there.
lodge, it just got
Wow.
piled.
Some of the stuff goes back decades.
I
Yeah,
can
and-
Decades.
imagine.
And we found stuff from decades ago that we still need to retain.
Yes.
Wow.
So,
Especially
because
if
there
it's
are
water.
some forever files,
Yep.
you know? Not many, but thankfully. You know, or some 40 or 50 year.
So I'm gonna say we should do that when it gets a little bit cooler, because that place gets quite hot in the summer. You wouldn't wanna do it now, but like come the fall, you got that window, just like we did before. We had that window where it was comfortable, but then it got too cold. But we got a lot done
Right.
in a couple weeks, meeting once a week.
So, yeah, so we can sort of plan on setting something like that up for sometime in September.
Okay.
Okay.
When we have
In
nothing
the
to do.
meantime, it's okay to take the boxes that I can remove, that can be moved prior to
Yep.
that?
Yep, they can get brought up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll take care of that. Well, and Mark said he'd help. We'll
Yeah.
just come by with my truck and just
All right,
take them
cool.
down and put them up there. So they're out of your way, out of sight, out of mind as far as you're concerned.
I have a two-wheel hand truck too, we can move the boxes out of your truck.
Okay.
okay? That's all that I got on mine, and then we're into old business.
Did you happen to find the 2023 audit? That's the only one I couldn't find on the website, and I sent an email saying.
Yeah, so
without
I
link.
found the link for it, but you can't access it with that link anymore. I think that link that they give you, I mean, there's hard copies of it.
Has it
but
been
the-
uploaded to the website?
So I don't know if it's a draft, but what I have, which is essentially the same information, has been uploaded. But I don't think it's the exact document.
I think there's something called 2023, and it's mislabeled. I think it's the cover letter, not the audit itself.
Oh.
So I think you have to
It's a
find-
multi-page thing that I uploaded.
So you did upload a document?
I did upload something, but it's not what I recall seeing for what I saw in the past for 2023, because it was a link. I can't access the link. I think that link is only available for a certain amount of time, but there's no problem for me calling them and saying, can you either reactivate
I
that
see, you
link?
found the link back to
or-
the auditor's firm on their server.
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's the document that I believe is
But you didn't
the
find,
full,
you didn't find the full audit
only the
anywhere on?
hard copy, only the hard paper copy.
That's why we don't have it.
Correct.
So,
No, I think I have it right here. Let me make sure. This is,
it might be in the
If
email
you
system.
I did a search, I
Okay.
couldn't find it except for that link.
for the year ended December 31st, 2023.
Keep going, see if you have the full audit. Yes, that's it. How many pages is it?
What is that?
That
9
could be the same
pages.
thing that I
Then
found
that's not-
and uploaded.
Well, the
9 pages?
Yeah,
That's absolutely not the audit.
No.
that's the letter,
Yeah,
That's the
Oh,
letter.
okay.
that's what I was talking about is.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
All right, let's see what else.
Well, you
we
have to look for it later.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's
We
fine.
need a digital copy of that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and you can certainly ask
Oh, yeah,
them to,
yeah. I don't
to
think
send
that's a
it.
big deal.
Okay, moving on.
and we could, at the same time, ask for
With
the status of this year's and the 535, which is
Which is-
due, and they were very, very late on the 535
And
last
they're
year.
gonna be late again because
well-
they're asking for it, it's at least twice now.
Yep.
Where it is, so,
Well.
not a problem,
Okay,
The state is asking for it?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you bet.
And they know it. The auditors know that they're asking for it.
Well, they went through this, what,
They
how
know.
many years in a row?
every year,
Yeah.
It's the same thing,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, next.
So you had me put the portal database, and I don't know if you wanna take that as part of the, non-public,
Okay,
I'm not sure.
you're suggesting that.
Well, I am, because.
Okay,
Yep.
good, that's what we'll
Thank
do.
you.
Okay,
Alright, so getting back to the tower agreement,
Mhm.
I did send an email follow-up to the letter that we sent,
mm-hmm.
and have had no response.
so. how do
Should
handle
we
this?
send a letter to the Carroll County Commissioners?
I think so. Because we're not getting a response from the sheriff. We gotta go over his head.
And they're the ones that approve budgets.
It's possible he passed it on up to them, but he
Well,
didn't
he could've
indicate.
let me know.
Yeah, he could've let us know if that's what he did.
Right.
Or he's just ignoring it and hoping for the best.
So we'll make a motion that we draft a letter to the Carroll County Commissioners.
Second,
Aye.
aye,
No discussion, 3-0. Chicora Review intersecting Basil.
Yeah, so back at, not the past meeting, but a meeting prior, I believe you guys had mentioned in the meeting that you wanted to take a look at that area where there was, remember there was some sort of debris, we requested and wrote a letter for them to remove it, they have, but however, it, from what Jeff had explained, that it appears that the ditch line is still very much disturbed and isn't in the condition that it was prior.
I have not got up there to see it again.
neither have I.
I'll get up there and
Okay.
we'll do this next week.
Yeah,
Sure.
I just saw it when all the equipment was still up there.
Maybe we'll stop on the way up with the boxes.
We can do that.
Okay, so the highway and parking ordinance from last meeting, the discussion about the gross vehicle weight, needed to be updated
For the, up
on the
from
ordinance.
10 to
and I-
13,
So
yeah.
you guys require, I'm gonna require new signatures
Mm-hmm.
for the update, so I have that.
Does that need a hearing? I think it does.
I think it
With a new
does.
signature, really?
It's a change to an ordinance.
Well, yeah, it's a small change. Okay.
Even a small
Really?
change,
No kidding.
even
It
a
has to
small
be-
change.
You have to have a revision date, so you
It
keep
is,
track
I
of the
put the
difference in the
revision
document.
on it, I did. It's, so it's ready to go, I just don't know
It
where
has
you
a new
got.
revision date.
Yeah,
yeah, so that-
today, because I thought you were gonna sign it.
Oh, man, are we have to have a public hearing just, it was, could we just say it was a mistake on our part? What did it say in the
No.
old one?
10,
10,
And yet we've had 13 up before.
I know.
Hmm.
correct?
Gotta do it.
we gotta do it.
Okay.
You wanna set a date? It's gonna be the quickest, because the only thing that's gonna be discussed
Is that,
is the change of the gross vehicle weight.
Correct, because all the other changes have already been done at a hearing.
Right.
Yeah, good luck
But
with
that
that.
Well-
doesn't, okay, so this is what I'm getting into now.
2 weeks from now, hearing, for proper posting?
Yeah,
And it-
today's the 12th. The hearing will be on the 26th.
So it's put an ad into the Conway Daily Sun.
Oh, do it on a
Just like we
Tuesday
did it.
morning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So it'd be part of our meeting, regular meeting, well,
We'd-
around the same time, so we'd get going from one to another.
Yeah, probably right after the meeting.
Okay.
At a certain
Oh, I
time.
gotcha.
So why don't we commit to do a meeting from 9 to 11 and have the public hearing at 11? We have made these meetings go 2 hours or less, not today, but we have.
Why don't you make it at 10?
10? All right. Saying we could always recess if we needed to.
And you're saying the
From our regular
26th?
meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
That way we're not hanging around waiting for nobody to come.
At 10 a.m. At 10 a.m., you sure that's long enough?
26.
I mean, like far out enough? So we're gonna hold a commissioners meeting
We're
first?
gonna start at 9, we'll either adjourn or we'll recess at 10,
Gotcha.
we'll have the hearing, and
Yep.
then we'll go from there.
Alrighty.
So I'll make a
So-
motion that we have a hearing on adjusting the
Yeah.
gross vehicle weight in the highway ordinance on August 26th, Tuesday, August 26th at 10 a.m. and then we post it,
Yeah.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
So your posting is 10 days in advance? And that is also the same day that it goes into the
Newspaper?
newspaper?
Yeah,
And we'll do now that it's working, we can do the MailChimp,
correct.
and that'll all happen the same day, the
Alright,
posting day.
okay.
Okay. So they publish on Saturday, the 16th, so it'd have to be in that Saturday paper.
They do a couple during the week, don't they?
Yeah, they do, they do.
Tuesdays and
It could be-
Thursdays.
Yeah,
Yeah, if they do one on a Tuesday,
that'd be
do it
2
2 weeks before.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine, that's
It
fine,
could
I'm just
be-
saying.
It even be posted before, like you
Could
don't
be in
have to.
Thursday's paper,
Right.
Yeah, get
2
to
days
it.
from now.
Correct. Why not?
Okay.
And
Or
that's
just-
easy to do.
Okay, so I'll reword that. The drop dead date for having it posted would be the 16th, but fortunately Conway Daily Sun puts a paper out on the 16th.
Yeah, it'll be done before that.
Okay.
Okay. Woo-hoo.
So that's all business, now we go to signature items, unassigned fund balance policy?
Yep.
You making a motion?
No.
First I have to find it, which I thought I brought it.
Make a motion that we
Got it.
adopt and sign the new policy for the unassigned fund balance retainage.
You second?
I'll second.
Discussion? It says the village district of Idlewild unassigned fund balance is to be retained at 50% of the general operations / highway budget for the previous year. No water funds are to be included in the calculation of the unassigned fund balance for any year. This policy is adopted by the VDOE Board of Commissioners and is to be calculated each year prior to requesting expenditures of the unassigned fund balance money on the warrants for the VDOE annual meeting. Adopted August 12th, today.
So did we all say aye?
Not yet.
Okay, I'll say aye.
Aye.
3-0. Then we'll sign it. Next is the EPA parking waivers. I'm not sure I understand the need for a waiver. And I thought she asked would it be necessary for her to come to this meeting? And I was gonna respond by saying, let's drag her ass in here for the fun of it.
I think
I didn't think that was necessary, so I.
Well,
didn't.
I guess if the event is so popular at Idlewild Beach when Steve is playing, and we know how good a musician he is, that some people would wanna park on the street.
Oh, I was thinking of the Hotwell parking lot for the yard sale, that's why I didn't understand.
It's on there.
That's part of it.
All three of them are listed.
And the other one is the
But
ice
it's
cream
really-
social.
It's really the beach overflow parking.
It's also the ice cream social up at the Summit, which is a week from this coming Saturday. This Saturday is the Steve concert on Idlewild Beach.
That's the big issue, really.
Yeah, that's probably the most critical of the lot. I mean, Idlewild, it's a big parking lot, but conceivably, I don't know. Let's put it this way, when we had the cookout, there were people, the entire parking lot was full, and there were people parking on the street for when we had that cookout day.
So make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we grant this waiver for the 3 EPOA events, which includes the Steve Heidechek concert this coming Saturday at Idlewild Beach, then the Hotwell parking lot flea market, which is slated to happen on, I don't remember the exact date of that,
The Hotwell
Sunday,
parking
the
lot
31st.
Sunday the 31st, and the ice cream social at the Summit on, I believe that's the 23rd.
It is.
Needs a second.
Second for discussion.
Okay.
Why would we need to do anything for the
Hotwell parking.
Howell parking lot, cause it's kind of in the parking lot?
If you grant the waiver and you don't need it,
It doesn't
it
hurt.
doesn't matter.
Okay,
True.
okay.
Because if the Hotwell parking lot is all taken up with
There's space.
flea marketers, people are gonna be parking out on Idlewild Drive or on
I'm gonna
on
need
Hotwell
space to
Road.
spread the app cans I'm knitting all over the parking lot, therefore cars will be parking out in the road. Okay?
Okay.
It's gonna be such a popular event that people from all over Carroll County will be attending.
Well,
so-
true.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Great. Now, can I send this notification to Madison Police so they're informed that we're not enforcing
Sure.
in
Yes.
these
Yes.
areas that day?
There's a
Okay.
temporary, for whatever the
Yeah,
hours of the
right.
events are,
Yeah.
there's
The
a,
town does
there's a
it for,
temporary.
The town does it for Old Home Week every year,
Okay,
so it's not unusual.
super.
you know? So it is a normal thing.
Okay.
What about, speaking of the police department, do we wanna notify them of the signage going up, continuing to go up, or more signage has gone up, and when the starting date on towing out of the Hotwell parking lot should commence?
Yeah, you told
Yes.
them that already.
I told
That
them,
was
I
part of,
copied them
that
on
was
that.
part of your.
Yeah, so, yes, I saw you had an
Okay.
email.
Okay,
sent
so
to
as
the
long
chief.
as they were copied in on that, I
They
was gonna say I
definitely
saw it and that's fine. So as long as the police were made aware, then,
Yeah, so that satisfied a homeowner as well.
Things are leaving, I'm noticing.
Yeah, but then something else shows up.
I saw a new thing show up.
have
And that can be there for
4 days.
4
4
days.
days, no more than 4 days.
That's correct.
One of them is a trailer, but a
That
trailer's
black-
allowed
that
at
black
all?
trailer.
No?
You talking about that black trailer in the,
Big, no, there's a big blue box trailer,
oh, box trailer?
a
Okay.
utility
Yeah, the
trailer
box
that
trailer.
appeared as a camper left.
Yeah,
Okay, but the clock starts on the 18th, right?
Yes,
well,
So-
enforcement, yes.
Well,
but the 4-day clock has to stop before the enforcement day.
I would think the 4-day would start on the 18th, no? Okay.
Towing starts on the 18th.
Ah,
Right.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha. So if you're not out of there by the 18th, you've been there more
We
than 4
need to know
days.
who's been there for 4 days come the 18th.
Okay, got it.
Anything else on that? And then we're moving to public appearances, of which there are none, non-agenda items. So I'll make a motion that we do a roll call vote to go into non-public session. And how do you, it needs a second,
Second?
and how do you vote, Nancy, on non-public?
Aye.
How do you vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Yep.
Thank you, Carol. 11:24.
That's what I got, yep.